Hello? 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 Oh, hi there. Good morning, good afternoon. Oh, hi. Hello. Hello. Hi. Morning. I'm Eepy. I don't know if it's showing on my face, but I'm Eepy. You guys want to see my crazy burn? I was gonna save it for Monday to show you guys, but you guys want to see it today? You guys want to see my crazy? I got attacked by a bird. I made a turkey and I spilled turkey juice on myself right out of the oven because I am a small person and the counters are high and it was a 15-pound bird. You guys want to see? You guys want to see? It's gonna be my new map. It's gonna be my new continental map for Dungeons and Dragons games. You wanna take a look? The spot where it's a little off color, you know, besides the obnoxious red, the spot where it's a little bit off color and there's like a little bit of a black spot is where I put a I got a thumbtack and I put it under a lighter and then rinsed it off and was popping the blisters that were coming out of it. Am I good? I mean, I'm here. I'm fine. I'm fine. I didn't like go to the hospital or anything or go to a doctor. It's just a burn. It'll probably leave a scar, but I don't really care, quite frankly. My tum-tum will just have an interesting feature. The talking point. Don't let your dreams be memes, guys. Oh. Yo, I'm kind of chill for just a chill day, but no, we're doing politics today. We got politics to do. Are you guys ready? I'm kind of just vibing as we let people come in. I think you said a bird attack. I got beat up by a bird. It was a turkey that was in my oven. I got gotted. I got gotted by a turkey, guys. Need more soda? Go get your soda. We're gonna chill for a little bit while we let people roll on in here. I guess we can be chill about the way we do politics, can't we? We can be chill about it. We won't get mad. Surely there's nothing going on in politics that's gonna make people angry, right? Like, it'll be fine. It's not even cold and I'm just all snoogled up. I need to lose a fight with something that's already dead. By being small and being a heavy bird and counters being too high because I'm small. I need a stool. I have a kitchen. The kitchen. I really like my new kitchen. Okay? I really like it. It's nice. It's got a lot of counter space. I'm struggling to keep it as tidy as I would like, but in my defense, I was making a ton of food in there, so it gets messy fast. But that's okay. That's okay. But I need a stool. I need a stool. I don't have one, and I'm so small, and I've been living without a stool for years, and I'm like, why am I disabling myself in my own life with how small I am? Why am I doing this? Sometimes I just feel like I should take better care of myself, and I just don't. Because it would cost me, like, $10, $20 to go get a stool, and I'm just not. And I have no reason not to do that. How are you? Welcome. Welcome to Wednesday. What's going on? Will this stream... Oh, I have to tell you guys about the kid next door. So, the house beside me has some kids. And they're, like, young kids. They're not, like, 12. They're, like, young. Under 10. And one of them has one of those little Fisher-Price cars. You know, the ones I'm talking about? Like, the red with the yellow top and they're red and shit. You know what I'm talking about? I love those things where you like run around and you're just in a car. Yeah, those are great. I got They have one of those kids over there have one of those, but it's like a dinosaur or dragon or something. It's green and it's got like little lumps on it for like the spine. And I'm like, what? What? I'm so jealous. It's so cool. I'm like, oh man. I wish I was a cool kid. It's so cool. I want to get a better look at it later because I was trying not to, like, I don't want to be nosy because, like, my deck looks right into their yard. And I'm like, I don't want to stand here and could be a creep. Did they let me ride it? Not yet. I'm gonna have to ask. I can't just, like, steal a dinosaur car from a child. I guess I could. I am a goblin. That would be appropriate. It would be on brand, wouldn't it? Good morning. Good morning. I don't know if they're gonna let me ride it. I'm gonna try to make friends with all my neighbors. Wish me luck. I think I'll have an easier time making friends once the barbecue is plugged in, because then I can be like, yo, who wants barbecue? And who says no to barbecue, right? Like, that's like, I'm gonna bribe them. Like, I don't just try to be friends with people, I bribe people. You wanna be my friend? Look, I have beer and hot dogs. Come be friends with me. But, yeah. Chesh in a new goblin mobile. Doing donuts. Okay, I don't want to tell you guys, I don't want to give you guys, like, too much information about where I live, but I feel obligated to tell you about the way cul-de-sacs work in Canada. Remember yesterday I was explaining that people shovel each other and, like, snowblow each other's stuff? Well, okay, there's one of the things that our taxes go towards is maintaining the roads. And maintaining the roads in Canada inevitably involves plowing the roads, because there's snow everywhere. If you live in a cul-de-sac, the plow does not, like, where's the snow gonna go? Right? They pull into the you know, you guys know what a cul-de-sac is. It's like a little, like a thermometer drop, right? Right? So they pull in, drive down, go around the circle, and then leave. And where does all the snow go? The middle of the cul-de-sac. So where the drop goes, it ends up inevitably being this amazingly huge pile of fucking snow that's just built up all winter. And it's the fucking best. And I'm like, hell yes. Hell yeah. I cannot. Winter is gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna build a fort. I'm gonna dig a hole. I'm gonna have so much fun. This is gonna be great. If somebody offered me beer and hot dogs and barbecue, we'd be halfway to the road to being besties. Yeah, 100% the epic mountain. Oh yeah. Yeah, 100% fucking big ass mountain, and I cannot wait. It's gonna be so much fun. And there's like a bunch of, like the place that I live has like, there's a bunch of kids. Like there's like a handful of adults that are like grandparents, and then there's like a bunch of kids, and they're like, their age range is from like, I don't know, I've seen like a handful of like older teenagers, and then I've seen like a bunch of like toddlers. So there's like an age range of like all these kids, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna stand on top of that thing, I'm gonna shove every single one of them off. Yeah, I'm gonna need to get some snow pants. Hell yeah. I'm gonna go play in the snow. And then play King of the Hill and throw kids off of... They're all taller than me, so, like, it's valid. It's fair. Oh, okay, that's enough of my preamble of nonsense. I do want to say thank you everybody who joined us yesterday. Specifically because yesterday we had, like, roughly 30 people watching the whole time. And the analytics are going to look a little bit weird for anybody who wants to go back and double check, because 10 of the people were on Twitch and then 20 of the people were on YouTube. So we had like roughly 30 to 40 people watching us for the whole time, and that's pretty crazy. So thanks for joining me. How do you not have snow pants? I've moved around a lot and I just double up. So like I'll wear like the kind of pants I'm wearing right now, which are like, you know, like these kind of pants. Maybe not these ones specifically because they have mesh on them, but like this kind of pant. And then or like track pants, and then I'll wear a pair of jeans, like a big pair of jeans over top. So they ostensibly function as snow pants that get wet. So, like, I manage. I find goblin ways around things. Belgium! Belgium what? What about Belgium besides the fact that they beat the USA out of FIFA, out of the World Cup? Because yeah, good job for them. I like the United States getting kicked out after they futzed around, and then also like it's gonna be really funny to watch them so deflated while the FIFA World Cup is still happening in their country. Snow pants help you zoom down the snow hill faster. It's true, they do. You live in Canada, I have snow pants, and I'm just dealing with Germany levels of snow. Oh. Yeah, no, like, you get used to it, so you don't need it as much. I feel like I only need snow pants if I'm, like, going hiking in snow. And even then, whatever. I just go in regular pants. They did the Trump dance? That's funny. They do a better YMCA. I believe it. I believe it. Snow pants allow you to ride your bike in the winter. It's been a really long time since I rode a bike in the winter time. It's also been a while since I've been on a bike. I'm gonna get a bike. Soon, TM. Maybe this weekend. Tag me in Discord. The server just showed did a stream about the renovations. Oh, that one you were talking about? The one that you said I needed to look at? Carney does an easy thing. Yeah, no, valid. That's a valid title. Okay, let's take a look. Oh god, it's an hour long. We'll watch it. It's okay. I say that like I'm not streaming for hours at a time, and this was a live stream, so valid. Like I'm not even gonna pretend that this guy's not doing the things right. He is. That is the correct thing. All right. Should we get into this? So this is a YouTube channel called The Line. Not that one, not the ACA line. Does anybody watching this channel right now watch The Line? I'm curious. Not this guy, the other line that I'm talking about. The Jimmy Snow channel. These are former National Post journalists. Oh! Interesting. So I have a little bit of beef with the National Post. Mostly... It's not really their fault. It's mostly because of, like, Chatham... The Chatham conglomerate that we talked about, like, last year. Fuck no, I watched once because Erica was on sometimes. Oh, okay. I was just curious about a vibe check. Yeah, that was. Yeah. I think Erica and Forrest are on it on a semi-regular basis. You just got off, did you, Athens? You got some post-nut clarity? You got some clarity going on? Why am I like this? Leave me alone. Okay. Let's... I recommend checking out You Watch The Line pretty regularly. Kind of sort of let me hear. What? That's the first time I've ever heard that. You please elaborate. How? That is nuts. I guess not everybody over there hates me as much anymore. What? You went on a journey, and now I know. And now I want to know. All right. Oh, thank you for the stretch. Yeah, I'll take that. We need to save this for Monday. We need to save this for like hanging out, chill Mondays. Why do they hate you? Well, partially because of my association with Steve, and partially at the time, and partially because I was critical of the ACA, and at the time when the line was formed was when Jimmy Snow was still supporting Kyle during the non sequitur show stuff. And yeah, that was like that whole debacle was still going on. Yeah, and I've been critical of the ACA, and they didn't like that at the time. They were not exactly good at handling what I believe was reasonable criticism. For anybody who wants to know what the criticism was, I talked about it on Saturday on Debate Hub Official, but I can briefly tell you here. Sorry, I'm gonna take this guy off the screen because it's not his fault. It has nothing to do with him. My criticism of the ACA was that they were taking people, attempting to deconvert them, but then not doing any of the necessary like stuff when you leave some kind of like major religious faction. There's like a big deal that you have to go through as like somebody who's leaving these sort of situations, and I was critical of them just taking one dogma and replacing it with another dogma instead of actually giving people the tools that they need to build a new social structure, as well as, yeah, they never got rid of their fundamentalism. Yeah. I think that's a short way of putting exactly what my issue was. Yeah. So I was critical of that, and they all got really mad at me. I wasn't even, like, I'm not even, I don't know why this is, but people react to me like I'm iDubbbz. Or like I'm fucking Ethan Klein from H3H3. People respond when I'm critical of people, they react to me like I'm some huge big YouTuber and whatever I said is actually gonna destroy them as people. And it's like I'm just a little guy. And then there was like there was Jimmy's whole fucking thingamadoodly. Pipeline was Gutsa Gibbon to Matt Dillahunty to the line, back to Erica to Dapper, and then and then Dr. Dan and stuff. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that tracks. That tracks. That's a good pipeline. I don't hate that pipeline. Congrats and welcome. You also came via Dapper, who you got to through Erica, who you got to through Joel Duff. Joel is interesting. Got from the Facebook Answers to Answers in Genesis. Oh. Answers to Answers in Genesis. I should go back on Facebook. I saw Dr. Dan make a really compelling point a couple of days ago, or like, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago now. I saw Dr. Dan make a really compelling point about why he goes on Facebook and still talks about the stuff on Facebook, even though Facebook is a nightmare place. And I was just like, valid, fair enough. There's like reason to still be around talking about this stuff. As long as you don't get too like caught up in the muck, I guess. Alright. Sorry, that was a whole sidetrack. Let's go. Has Erica abandoned Modern Day Debate yet? Or did she do that a while ago and I just missed it? I haven't been looking, so I've been busy, needless to say. She might have done it a long time ago, actually, now I'm thinking about it. Anyway. So this is the line. This is a different the line, not that the line. I don't think this is a call-in show or anything. So it says The Line is one of Canada's most read independent political publications, co-founded and edited by journalists Jen Gerson and Matt Gurney. G&G? They're a G&G machine. Facebook causes me psychic damage every time I see threads full of boomers saying gross brain dead shit. That is Facebook's brand at this point. This channel is a home of the Lines podcast. Every Friday, they break down the week's Canadian politics, what mattered, what didn't, and what the rest of the press is missing. Sure. On Tuesday, one of them sits down with a guest. Okay, so that's what they're about, I guess. All right, let's take a look.
We are getting a new house for the Prime Minister. Thank God.
Why didn't that pause? Go away. Shut up. All right, there we go. Sorry. We're getting a new house. Well, it's a new house. It's an old house. It's an old new house. It's a new old house. There we go.
It's the Line podcast. We are getting a new house for the Prime Minister. Thank God. A tragedy
Hooray.
in Montreal, an interesting little media storm about it. We're going to talk about that. Jen is going to change wardrobe and give us an update from Calgary. It's the Lime Podcast.
The first comment on their live stream says, absolutely hate Jen, gonna report this stream. Jesus. These guys got some haters, I guess. Holy moly. You guys can't really see that very well. Let me adjust this. Let me adjust this a little bit. I'm curious about these guys. I want to find out if I want to know if Tom is trolling the shit out of me, because that might be what's happening. He might be trolling the shit out of me because he does that sometimes, where he's like, "Oh yeah, no, totally check this guy out. They're legit," and then they're like fucking just slippery slope their way down a bunch of whole nonsense.
This episode of the Lime Podcast is brought to you by Cameco Corporation. In nuclear energy, timelines and costs matter.
What the fuck is Cameco? Now I gotta look this up. You have a new speaker and now I sound good? Nice. That's exciting. Okay, hold on. Cameco Nuclear? Cameco Corporation. Okay. Here's their Wikipedia. Woohoo! Alright. Cameco Corporation, formerly Canadian Mining and Energy Corporation, is the world's largest publicly traded uranium company based in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. In 2015, is the world's largest uranium producer and accounted for 18% of the world's production. The Canadian Mining and Energy Corporation was founded in 1988 by a merger and privatization of two crown corporations and federally owned Eldorado Nuclear Limited, known as Eldorado Mining and Refining Limited, and Saskatchewan-based Saskatchewan Mining Development Corporation, or SMDC. The name was later shortened to Cameco Corporation. The company was initially owned 62% by the provincial government and 38% by the federal government. The initial public offering, IPO, for 20% of the company was conducted in July 1991. Government ownership of the company decreased over the next 11 years, with full privatization occurring in February of 2002. In 1996, acquired Power Resources, Inc., the largest uranium producer in the United States. Okay, this is a scary monopoly, actually, as I'm reading more of this. We might want to do something about that. This looks like what might be a problem. If you have one company that is corporate owned and it owns or runs like a massive percentage of the global mining of uranium, like oh oh uranium mines in North America and Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan, sorry, that's the one that Jeff Holiday made up. I'm not fixing it. Nebraska and Wyoming in the United States. The province of Ontario, Cameco operates a uranium refinery in Blind River and uranium conversion facility in Port Hope, which has faced opposition from some community groups. Cameco is the exclusive fuel supplier to Bruce Power, which supplies 30% of Ontario's electricity through its nuclear generating plant. This is a good, to me, this is a good thing, except for there's one this is Shinra. Why is it Shinra? This doesn't need to be Shinra. I was in Mongolia doing gold. Jeez. Tax dispute. The Canadian Revenue Agency claimed Cameco's tax scheme started in 1999. Cameco created a marketing subsidiary in Zug, Switzerland, and drafted a 17-year agreement to supply uranium to the Swiss subsidiary at a rate of $10 a pound. The corporate tax rate in Switzerland is estimated to be around 10 cents per pound. The Canadian corporate rate estimated to be at least 27%. By having the Swiss subsidiary purchase their uranium first and then selling it elsewhere, Cameco was able to pay the Canadian tax rate for the first $10 and the remainder at the Swiss tax rate. Pretty sure Jeff physically cringes every time someone mentions it. Yeah, no doubt in my mind. Like, I imagine that he cringed when I said it, even though he's not here and he didn't hear me. He's just out there somewhere doing his thing and he went, ugh. In 2012, Canadian research firm Veritas Investment Research. Why is this red? When did I look at this? Oh. Okay. Estimated that Cameco paid $36 million in taxes on $680 million pre-tax cash flow from operations at a rate of 5% during the previous 6-year period. The Swiss subsidiary claimed $4.3 billion in profit, while a Canadian operation claimed a loss of $1.3 billion. Cameco had also established another subsidiary in Barbados, a known tax haven. The operations conducted in the subsidiary were not clear, but court documents show Cameco paid the Barbados subsidiary 50% of its Swiss subsidiary pre-tax profits in 2005. The CRA claimed that the Swiss subsidiary profits had to be taxed at Canadian rates because these subsidiaries did not carry out any real business activities and were just paper companies. It wanted Cameco to pay $2.1 billion in back taxes. Cameco argued that its offshore structures were legitimate and permitted by Canadian tax law. In 2018, a judge from the Tax Court of Canada, yeah, that's right, Canada has a tax court, by the way, for anybody curious, that exists. As well as 3 judges from the Federal Court of Appeal ruled in Cameco's favor and found the manner it acted to be lawful. The tax court also awarded the company with $10.25 million in legal fees and up to $17.9 million in disbursements for costs incurred. The CRA looked for a final appeal from the Supreme Court of Canada, but on February 18th, 2021, the court declined to hear the appeal. The lower court's ruling thus were rendered final, leaving the CRA with no further means to pursue the case. Holy moly! Listen, that's the law! Change the law! It sounds like the law needs to be updated. Oh my god. That's amazing. Alright, well, these... so the line is sponsored by these guys, by Shinra, Canada Shinra Corporation. Hey, listen. I'm not gonna give them shit for having a sponsor, okay? I'd sell you guys out for a Klondike bar. But all I'm gonna say is I am gonna point out that if these guys start complaining about corporate influence,
Incomplete designs carry real risk of delays and cost overruns. That's why the AP
blah, blah, blah.
drawing at the I'm so happy.
So I don't feel bad for skipping their commercial because I literally just did more than the length of their commercial to look up what they were who they were sponsored by. All right, let's go.
I never get to start the podcast saying that, but I am so friggin' happy. Finally, one of the most stupid, annoying, pissant little Canadian political issues is being resolved.
Reseater said that's not a loophole, that's a 4-lane tunnel. No, it's as intended. It's as that, a 4-lane tunnel, as intended, a highway to not pay taxes. And so we probably should do something about that. That might be, I don't know what. So if you guys want to start drafting documents about what we should do about that, let me know.
Solved. We're fixing the...
Here we go.
Pissant little Canadian political issues is being resolved. We're fixing the goddamn house.
Yeah, that's definitely not a political issue. So yeah, I'm on board.
Sort of.
Yeah.
All right. Look, let's give people the backstory. Why are we happy? Firstly, the other thing I would say is welcome to silly season. Summer is
oh, hey, that person's chat is gone.
Officially upon us. Summer is official. Like the Canadian summer has descended upon us. because everything we're going to talk about today, with the exception of the shooting in Montreal, is a little silly, but it's also silly important. So let's get into it. 24 Sussex. Matt, let's just assume our audience doesn't know what 24 Sussex is and why it's important.
Well, let me also just say to the video viewers who see me putting my glasses on and off, this is apparently middle age, so that's great. It's impossible for me to ever be the right distance from an object now. Okay, 24 Sussex.
Valid. Listen, bro, valid. That's a real thing. That is a real new struggle, and you get to deal with the repetition, like the repetitive movement issues. Good luck, my friend.
Is nominally the prime minister's residence, and it has been for a long time. I don't honestly remember exactly when, but it was a mansion built privately in the 1860s. It was eventually...
Okay, nominally means that it exists in name only, basically. Not so for anybody who doesn't know what the word nominally means. That's what the word nominally means.
Acquired by the Canadian government, and it was turned into the official residence for the prime minister. And if you read prime ministers' biographies, they all kind of hate the place because it was never great. Like, you know, every
dilapidated shithole.
Yeah. And
well, that's you're jumping ahead a little bit. It became a dilapidated shithole, but also like it was a mansion. It wasn't really built for functionality. So because it wasn't built for the function of the day-to-day of like, so like for the example, the White House, right? The White House in the United States that is currently in the United States is not the original White House because Canada burned it down in 1812. So they got to rebuild their White House with functionality. That's why the Oval Office is in the White House, and it's this big fucking estate office that you can go to and host people in and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? That's why it's got like the Rose Garden, had the Rose Garden. That's why it had like the Hall of Presidents and stuff like that, right? It was built with that intention, as opposed to Sussex, which was never built with that intention. It was just a fucking mansion from the 1800s. So that they were converting and working. And so no surprise that people were trying to do a job there that's a relatively in and out security logistical nightmare. And then also like it got dilapidated over time because people stopped using it.
Every prime minister has basically been like, this thing needs significant repairs and retrofits.
Also that, yeah.
But every prime minister then goes, if I spend money on my own mansion, I'm going to get killed. Like just the
You had to say that, right? Just put that jab in there. Yeah, I did. Yes.
Optics of that are going to kill me. So what happened is that they just stopped. And during,
I see.
You'll remember this. This is like political trivia for you and I because of how old we are. But there was like a serious intruder incident when Jean Chrétien was prime minister. Paul Martin didn't put any money into it. Stephen Harper lived in it, and it was falling apart. If I remember correctly, they were like, someone who's in the Ottawa Press Gallery can confirm this, but I think I remember reading at the time that there would be like press gaggles at 24 Sussex for like a photo op or something. And certain rooms of the house were just like roped off, like they were like dilapidated. You couldn't go into them.
Yeah. That's all accurate. Although I do like calling a group of press a gaggle. Can that be the official term of like a group of journalists? Because like you know how you have like a flock of seagulls, a murder of crows. I'm pretty sure it's a gaggle of geese, I think is what it is. Could journalists be a gaggle when there's a gaggle of journalists? I like that. That's good. What's going on? Hey, what's up? Welcome. We're looking at The Line, which is something Tom has been being like, he thinks he found like the reasonable conservatives in Canada that have like their YouTube channel and are chatting. So we're taking a look.
And I think Harper actually took this to an extreme because he actually lived in the house with Lorraine and his kids, but the house was almost like pointedly falling apart.
Yeah.
And he almost took this weird, shabby point of pride in the fact that he was living in a house that most of us wouldn't consider acceptable in a suburb.
Because he wouldn't spend the money on it.
Because he wouldn't spend the money on it. But like he almost made this part of his political brand.
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
Anyway,
and then never moved into it with his family. They moved to Rideau Cottage.
Which is funny because he lived in it as a kid.
Yeah, which might not be a coincidence.
Well, let's not overanalyze that one. Anyway, and then there was
Trudeau and his family moved to Rideau Cottage. And basically, in the time since, my understanding, and I saw some of the photos after the announcement today, the mansion has been like partially stripped down to like the exterior. where like
Yeah.
there's some internal framing left, but it's like plastic sheeting is sort of what's left of the interior.
Yeah.
It's going to cost a
It's like plastic sheeting and like the studs and like that's about it.
lot of money to fix this thing.
Yes.
The other thing to say is there just fairly recently there was a report about just how awful it had gotten, and we're talking like rats in the walls bad. I think a couple years ago it was actually declared uninhabitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Mhm.
And it's been completely ignored as a problem. Trudeau just absolutely, so Harper kind of wrote it into the ground and Trudeau just refused to touch it. So we've got this.
Which I think is valid. Like, listen, there was a few things that Harper wrote into the ground that Trudeau was like, nah, fam, I ain't touching that. And there's a few things, like, even like politically, that's actually pretty poignant.
This
I like that.
state-owned asset. It's a national asset that is just
Yes.
sitting there, literally falling to pieces. And, you know, Carney, look, I give him credit. And I'm actually going to spend a significant part of this segment giving him credit on this. But even he needed almost a year and a half to get around to it. Like this should have been like if in the unlikely chance I am ever find myself prime minister, which by the way would be bad for like a lot of reasons, but if it ever happens, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to tell every minister in the cabinet, get me a list of the top 10 things that should have been done 20 years ago that no one has had the guts to just declare should happen, and I will sign it.
That's not how being prime minister works. You can't, you're not a president. That's not how our politics works. The prime minister can't just do that. That's just not how. That's funny though. I get it. I get the vibe. I understand how that feels and how you want. But I am not bothered that that Carney, like the first thing that Carney did was not fixing Sussex right out the gate. The first thing that Carney did was cut carbon tax. That I'm pretty sure that was like officially the first document he signed was cutting the carbon tax. He cut the consumer part of it, not the corporate part of it. So that's why that's still a conversation. But the I would have been annoyed, I think, if Carney went on this political path, talking about how he's gonna like cut these taxes, do this thing, do housing stuff, do this, do that, get deals with other things, diversify our trade, and then the first thing he did was something performative. Right, I would have been annoyed by that personally. I'm totally happy with him a year later being like, okay, so this is a thing that's a very like unifying project that everybody can kind of get behind, and everybody's been bitching about forever, and it's more of like a pet project as a pet project that's gonna take its time to be done. Carney's not even planning on living in it. Like, I'm down with it. I'm down. I think it's fine. I think this is like a little bit of a unnecessary nitpick, and I feel like if I were talking to Matt, I like that this is another Matt on a channel called The Line. I think if I were talking to Matt, I think he would agree with me that it would probably not be a good look if the prime minister did what he's asking, but I understand how it feels. Like, he's talking about more what it feels than what logistically makes sense, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Needs to be a department to handle upkeep on government buildings. I'm pretty sure there are. It's just Sussex has been left to rot. Like you said, Harper ran it into the ground. Like, it was already not in good shape, and then Harper ran it into the ground as sort of, and what she was saying, like, as like kind of like a political statement.
And just get it done. And this should have been one of Carney's on like day maybe 2, but it wasn't, but whatever. So here's the announcement.
Sure.
And this is where I do roll my eyes. We're going to rehabilitate the building. That's the good part. Yay. We have made the decision. We're going to go ahead and do it. Yeah. Having made that announcement, we're doing it in an extremely plodding Canadian way, which is...
What? An extremely plotting Canadian way. What? Maybe it's because I'm out of the loop. I'm not like in conservative circles. And so because I'm not in conservative circles, I don't know what that means. I think he's gonna go and explain it, so I'm not trying to like cut him out from like cut the legs out from under him. I just mean like that sounds silly to me. A plotting Canadian way, as opposed to what? Not thinking it through and doing it in an American way? Like what Yeah, so like me? Like, what I do? That's I do that. Do I identify with this? Okay, he's gonna explain, but I just extremely plotting Canadian way. As if it's a bad thing. I don't know. Okay.
We're convening a jury
Uh-huh.
of Canadian designers and architects who will
Uh-huh.
review proposals by Canadian firms, and the entire thing will be
No, not by Canadian firms. It's a competition. It's a competition of architects and designers. There's no limit on, as far as we know so far, there's no limit on who can apply. I could draw it on fucking with crayons and win. Like, it's not like firms can compete, but that's not what he said. That maybe that will be what it ends up being, but we don't know that because that hasn't been proposed yet. The proposal, the design contest is starting next year. Just identifies as the problem. Apply. I mean, I could draft and send one in. I could draw one and send one in. Do you guys want to work on one together? We could crowdsource it. Crowdsource the idea, the application. Now, admittedly, it would be really hard for somebody like me to compete, like seriously compete. Now I have a year to prep for it, which is nice. But if I wanted to seriously compete, you still have to know like the cost analysis, right? So you can't just draw lines on paper and expect to succeed. Part of it is like billing and yada 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 yada. Sounds like they're going to restructure the interior some more than just fixing the problem. Yeah. They're gonna try to keep like the sum of the structure of the building itself, so like the outer shell of it, and then they're gonna have to redo the electrical. They're gonna have to redo the plumbing. Is gonna have to all be brand new and gutted. Like the whole building is gonna have to be gutted, and then they're gonna end up restructuring some of the interior. I think I want to see the blueprints of the place, and I'm sure I wonder. Hold on, let me. This isn't important right now, but nah, it's in my brain, and I have to deal with that. 24 sub 6 blueprints. So, like, if you can't read blueprints, you probably aren't going to be fucking. You're probably not going to be competing, right? Here we go. Let's take a look at this real quick and see if there's independent national design building competition to rehabilitate and modernize 24 Sussex Drive, right? In fall of 2022, the NCC began the process of closing 24 Sussex Drive, the official residence of the Prime Minister of Canada. The building was closed for health and safety reasons, as well as to protect this classified heritage asset. With a budget of $4.3 million, the abatement and decommissioning project began in May 2023 and was completed in November of 2024. The following elements have been addressed: careful removal, cataloging, and storing of heritage fabrics such as doors and moldings. Abatement of design substances such as asbestos, and removal of obsolete mechanical heating and electrical systems. Yeah. Part of a broader long-term program, blah, 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 blah. Extensive proposed work includes the following: extensive recapitalization, abatement of hazardous materials, retention of certain heritage components, improvement of the building envelope, replacement of the mechanical electrical system, and construction of universally accessible entrances and washrooms. Yeah, like, look at this place. Some parts of this building are really cool. Can I, like, make this big? Yeah, we can. Look at this. That's the kind of Google search that puts you on lists. I know, the blueprints might not be available, but you could probably get a pretty good design draft off of just... What they'll probably do is they'll probably release, like, the current floor plan for the competition. Like, look at how it's being... Oh, no. Look at the ceiling. Holy moly. Eesh. Wow. Wow. Whoa! Those are some cool stairs. It's kind of closed. It's kind of like... Yeah, so modernizing this building is going to be crazy. Oh, it's empty. Like, this building is not functional. Like, it's not even just a Fascade. Well, if it was a Fascade, they'd be pretending it's works. It's not even that. All right, sorry. This doesn't say anything about firms. But let's keep going.
Convening a jury of Canadian designers and architects who will review proposals by Canadian firms in the
Yeah, it doesn't say Canadian firms. I think that's disingenuous. I don't know if he's just getting it wrong, but I think that misrepresents the spirit of what the competition is.
entire thing will be funded, in theory, by a fundraiser. So you can
No, that's also not what was said. We watched it yesterday. So no, the entire thing will not be funded by a fundraiser. That's not what they said.
You kind of, I get it. Like, I know what Carney's doing here. He's like, how do I put lipstick on this pig? So in his...
What? How? I don't... okay, I feel like my criticism with this is gonna... How is it putting lipstick on a pig? Fixing the building isn't putting lipstick on a pig. Restructuring and fixing it isn't doing that. It's turning it into something else and something functional. Putting lipstick on a pig would be like having a really gaudy gold fucking Oval Office like Trump has. Except you're turning it into a pig. Because the Oval Office wasn't ugly to begin with. Sussex isn't an ugly building. It's just dilapidated and needs a lot of love. Lipstick on a pig? Are you talking about Aaron? Yeah, that would be a good example. It's like trying to polish a turd, right? Like, it's that kind of idiom. I disagree. I don't understand this idiom. Sorry, I don't understand why he's using this idiom here. Like, this is just not, it's not applicable here. That's not what he's doing. To put lipstick on a pig is to try to make something ugly beautiful and present it as if it's not. Right? And does not seem to be the intention of this at all.
Speech. I don't know if you watched the press conference, but I did. In his speech, and this is smart, it was clever, he linked it to Canadian heritage. We have to honor our...
It is not, that's not him linking it to Canadian heritage. It is Canadian heritage. This isn't a matter of opinion. Is our prime minister's supposed to be our prime minister's house? Like, that's not, and it has been since, what did they say, 1860 or something like that? That's not linking it, right? Rot, mold, and asbestos. Well, they already took that out, right? The rot and mold and asbestos has been removed. They did that, and that was a project that they did, and they completed in 2024, a couple years ago. So that's already done. If you left the rot and mold and asbestos and then just tried to make the building look nice and functional, that would be putting lipstick on a pig. For sure. That would absolutely be putting lipstick on a pig. Right? Can we change that analogy? Because pigs are kind of cute. Can we change the analogy to putting bronzer on a Trump? Okay, Carney is really smart for linking the thing that is the thing. He just stated it for what it was. That's not...
Institutions, we have to take care of our country. This building belongs to all of us, and it belongs to the people who have not yet been born. He also went out of his way to say, I will never live in it. I thought that was interesting, because do we read that as a pledge that he won't, or an honest acknowledgement of the timeline? You can read that either way.
You could also read it as both. That the timeline is, it's going to take a long time to fix this building, and he likely is not intending to be prime minister for that long. So I would read it as both and neither. I would read it as he doesn't have the intention of doing so, but he's not pledging to ensure that he never moves in, you know what I mean? It also distances him that it's not about him. I think that's what he was trying to get at. That it's not about him wanting something for himself. It's not about him spending a bunch of money so he can live in a nice house, unlike Pierre Polyev, for example.
It is Canada, Matt.
Yeah, I know. So he made this announcement
10 to 15 years
to renovate a house. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you guys think it'll take 10 to 15 years to do Sussex? I don't know, maybe. It's possible that it's going to take a long time, particularly if they need to make it publicly accessible bathrooms and ensure like the security works out and turn it more into a public building. And if they're going to do the work, they may as well do all of it. You know what I mean? There's no point in half-assed. Depends what state it's in. It's gutted right now. There's nothing in it. It's gutted. It is the structure and that's it. That's all that's there. But I don't know. I'm not sure why 10 years is unreasonable for that amount of work for a public building that's going to have like a level of security that is higher than the average. Like they're not putting up a new house, you know what I mean? Like building a gutted. I don't know how. I've watched houses get built, and modular housing gets built relatively quickly. Like it's pretty quick. Like a couple of months to a year it can be done. But if you've ever seen somebody build a house from scratch on a plot of land and it's like a personal project, like you know what I mean? Like somebody rich bought a plot of land and they're building a house on it, it takes them years to put those houses up. And then get the interior going. I've watched construction going on for upwards of like 7 years before it looks like anybody's moved into the place. So I'm not entirely sure what I don't get what she's laughing at, because it seems like she's laughing because she just doesn't know how long it takes to build a house or do this kind of a project. You know what I mean? And it's not like it's a pet project. It's not a rush project. You know what I mean? It's not like there's not like there's no rush to make sure Sussex is functional by like the end of. Yeah, renovation and restoration takes longer. Yeah, and April's absolutely right. I was just describing a house being built from scratch. If you want to renovate and you want to restore something, there's so much other shit that you've got to go into it, especially when you need to renovate this kind of a building and this kind of with these kinds of specs, right? It needs to have public access, like wheelchair accessible stuff. It's got like bathrooms and stuff. It's gonna have to have like a level of security that your average house is not going to need. It's gonna have like there's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot. So I don't. I think she's just laughing because she doesn't know how long it takes to build something like this, to do this kind of project. I think this is she's just laughing from ignorance.
So I am genuinely glad, and I give Mark Carney credit. Thank you, Prime Minister, from the bottom of my heart, to finally doing the damn thing.
I agree with this.
But I so wish we could have just done, we're spending the next 90 days reviewing design proposals, and then we're proceeding immediately. The snark.
Why? I'm just curious as to why. Like, why would you prefer that?
Reviewing design proposals, and then we're proceeding immediately. The snarky, shitty part of me, Jen, I don't know how the process works, but I'm wondering if the line should submit this to the major projects office.
Oh.
Yeah, we don't know how the process works because the submissions for the contest won't be like the specs and what you need to do and stuff, and what they need to be proposals are not going to be released until next year. So, security upgrades, blast resistance to the walls and windows, those materials are just available at the local hardware store. Right, Red Cedar? 100%. A lot of houses like this usually have a public and private side too. Yeah, yes, you're right. Yeah. Why does he feel it needs to be done now? Yeah, good question. Matt, why do you feel like it needs to be done now? Why are you in a rush? But I don't know why that shit. I don't know why you view this as shitty and snarky. I want to submit a proposal. Of course I want to. I think that'd be fun. I'm not necessarily going to be seriously competing to win, but I think it'd be fun to submit something and work on something because, you know, it's a fun little project and you can work on it in your spare time and fucking make up something nice. And why not?
You know, it could do
Why
worse. All
not?
right, look. So firstly, I think that we need to understand that part of the reason why this is such a big deal is that 24 Sussex has taken on disproportionate symbolic and emotional weight because it really has become a living example of Canada. You know what I mean? Like, still.
What? Is that what conservatives think? They think Canada has been, like, gutted and is, like, was full of mold and asbestos and, like, is not functional and has been left to rot? Is that what they think? Is that how conservatives, is this how people view Canada? Like, really? Is that actually what you think? Because I feel like that's like I think that's like a feeling you have, but I don't think that's accurate to what you actually think. I don't, especially if you wanted to actually take a one-for-one comparison and say, well, since 2020 something or another, they've done a lot of work to decommission the building to get rid of the mold and the asbestos and get rid of all those dangers. But if they said that, then they would have to acknowledge that Justin Trudeau was doing his job. And these guys don't like to people who are conservatives don't like to admit that Justin Trudeau has done his job. Whether you agree with him or not, he did his job. I guess it is what Pierre Poilievre keeps saying. He does keep saying that, like, Canada sucks and blah 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 and yada yada yada. I just don't agree with that, I guess. Guess who let it rot? Harper. Yeah, that's a perfect one-to-one. They literally just said Harper ran it into the ground. So if you're gonna make this analogous, then you have to say that Harper ran it into the ground and Trudeau refused to touch it. So Trudeau was busy doing other shit. And now Carney's coming in to fix what Harper did? Is that what you're trying to say? Because I don't. Okay.
Still looks okay on the outside, rats in the walls on the inside. And
what walls? There's no walls anymore. Did you look at the inside of the building? What do you talk? I don't. Okay.
Every single sort of reason why Canada has become sclerotic and unable to fix its own problems have been replicated in microcosm with our relationship to this stupid house. Okay?
What a pessimistic point of view, I guess. By the way, I'm not trying to say that they're wrong for having these opinions. I'm just... That's... Yeah, it just got dark. What the fuck? I feel like we took a left turn here into, like, everything sucksville. Like, nihilistic fucking doomer shit. Like, why are we... I thought we were happy that the building's getting fixed. Why are you so mad? Even the plaster's been stripped all the walls. Yeah, there's no plaster on any of these walls. Like, here, I'll pull it back up. Hold on. I opened it and took a look at the building. Let me, I'll pull it back up so you guys can see it again. This is what the building currently looks like. Let me look at the date again also, by the way. When was this project? Yeah, 2020, in May of 2023 and completed in November of 2024. Well, that's Justin Trudeau. So Justin Trudeau is the one who spent the money and went through to clean up the asbestos and the rats in the walls and all of that shit, right? But, like, there's nothing... It's down to the brick. It's down... Like, that's wood paneling. that's brick. There's like some curtains that have been thrown up, right? Or like there's like a little bit of wall there, maybe. But like that's the walls. What rats? Where are rats gonna go? What are you talking about? Like maybe a decade ago, your description would be correct, but it's almost like it's like you're behind. Like there's no like all this wood looks new. Like the structure has been replaced to help hold the building up. Like this wood is not from the 1800s. Right? Yeah, detached from reality. Yeah. But like look, it's stripped down to the nothing. That's plywood on the floor. Like there's what do you mean? It feels to me that her outrage is misplaced, I guess. Her emotional upsetness, her vibe is misplaced and not based in reality. It's not based in what the actual situation of the house looks like. That's gonna be a money pit? Yeah, it is. Yeah, they know. It's one of the reasons why they've avoided it for so long. That's why it cost fucking how much was that? 4.3 million dollars just to get it to that point, and it took a year to get it stripped and like brought down to this point. Like it's going to cost a lot of money and take a lot of time to restore this building. But this is like a national symbolism thing, right? Pics make it seem like a Zillow fixer-upper. Yeah, right. I mean, if just a person was going to buy this building and take it and and model it and stuff, it would cost them less than it's going to have to put on all of like the public access and the security that it's going to need as the residence for the prime minister, right? So like this is supposed to be like Canada's White House, right? If it has asbestos, that's one of the main reasons why it's taken so long. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And they're being careful. They don't want to just wreck the building. They're trying to save as much of it as possible, right? They're trying to save as much as at least the structure as they can. So they're putting in extra work, and it's going to cost more that way. And the same with renovating it and getting it functional again.
So that's why it's really important and symbolically important that Mark Carney has announced the fixing of the house. It's also
so sorry, I'm gonna go put her back because I know I'm pausing her a lot. I apologize. I'm gonna put her back and we'll listen to the whole thing of what she has to say. But one thing I do want to point out is that if you're going to use this house as an analogy and view the house as an analogy for your view of the country, that's fine. I don't mind, like that's fine and it makes sense. But if you're going to do that, follow through on the analogy. Like follow the analogy through to its completion. So that means how it got destitute in the first place, who ran it into the ground, who spent money doing all the work to try to fix it, to make it functional again, and now how is it being utilized to become functional again? And then once it is functional, how does it get used? How does the building get utilized? Right? So right now we're at the point where all of the rats, quote unquote, have been removed from the country, and all the things that are stopping it, or the things that are making it dangerous, have been removed by Justin Trudeau after Stephen Harper ran it into the ground. So if we're going to do that, if you're going to do the analogy and you're going to actually believe in and push this analogy, follow it through, because now it is Justin Trudeau who did all of the groundwork, and now Carney is coming in and being like, okay, now that we've stripped and destroyed the shit we need to strip and destroy and remove, now we get to rebuild. I think I'm not a history major, but I would be fascinated in like 20, 30, 40 years from now when people are going in without like the of the times bias to see how much work Carney is benefiting from, that the groundwork needed to be done by Justin Trudeau. Like I will not be surprised to find out like a shitload of the groundwork, like thing is like changing and adjusting our relationship with China started with Justin Trudeau. Untangling us from the United States started with Justin Trudeau when Obama was president. Canada was starting to distance itself from the United States while Obama was president. There's like a lot of shit that Trudeau did that is like very much not the fun let's get together and build part, but the we have to pull this off, we gotta rip this off, we gotta do that stuff. Right? It's like the difference between having to do like the grunt work of stripping a house and then the fun work of decorating it. You know what I mean? So I think that there's a lot of things that Carney's getting a lot of praise for that I don't think Carney would be able to do, or would be able to do so quickly and so successfully if Trudeau hadn't been there before him doing a lot of the grunt work that everybody was mad at him for. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that that's how that's going to be viewed in the future when the bias of a lot of foreign influence and smear campaigns is no longer actively affecting the way we're looking at the situation. There are questions like, does it need a bunker and a secure command center or an underground escape? Yeah, there's lots of questions. That's why it's going to take them a year to decide what the building even needs. And then decide, like, what parts of, like, will it be the entire building gets designed, or will it just be the public part of the building, or yada, yada, yada. Trudeau did the ripping of the Band-Aid, and Carney gets the nice part of presenting the results. In some of it, yeah. And I'm not trying to say this, that Carney isn't doing a good job, and I absolutely think he's the right guy at the right time for the right work. And I do think Justin Trudeau stepping down was one of the best things he could have done when he did it, and his timing was perfect. It was, like, perfect. You could not have planned that better. In fact, I'm pretty sure they did plan it. But, like, that handover was perfect. And it's not even unsimilar to, like, Justin Trudeau's dad, who was, like, loved and hated. It was pretty funny. I also wouldn't be surprised if Justin Trudeau comes back and is prime minister again at some point later in his life. I wouldn't be surprised. Do I think that's gonna happen anytime soon? Fuck no. That dude's like, I'm done. Fuck this shit, I'm out. He's like, I did my job and half of you don't even know what I did. So that's just my take on it. So Jen, if you're gonna make this analogy and you're gonna tie this idea together, follow it through. Actually follow it through and explain the whole analogy. Because I don't think it leads where you want it to. But that's okay. I am gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna refill my tea, and because I've already been live for an hour. So BRB. I changed my mind. I got a beer. Wahoo! Yahoo! Welcome back. I think I should explain. One of the reasons why it takes me so long to do these videos, or do these streams, or go through these. No, I'm not. I'm not muted. You lied to me. I'm not muted. You're lying to me. You can't trick me. You can't fool me. I feel like this is a segment called Wait, let me explain. I feel like I should kind of walk through this for a hot minute because like I think it's a lot to ask somebody to sit around and hang out with me and watch as I like go through stuff like this. It takes like hours and hours and hours to just cover like a portion of like one video. And I feel like I should explain myself a little bit. Because it's also one of the reasons why people get mad at me so much. All the time. Either on... This happens in my real life too. This is not like... This is a part of like my lived experience. People get mad. And one of the reasons why people get so upset, and one of the reasons why these videos take so long is because I'm actually paying attention and listening very closely to what people are saying. And people don't expect other people to listen to what they're saying. And then actually cut through and be like, okay, so this is what that means. Right? So it kind of strips away the rhetorical, it strips away it just cuts to the point, right? We're taking the fluff out, we're taking out the stuff. So like I said, for example, Jen's analogy. Jen, for the line that we were just watching, when Jen presented the house as a representation of the way people view the country, I said, okay, then follow that through, because what we have is we have a prime minister who spent a lot of money and a lot of work on getting this dealt with. So you're saying that it's been left dilapidated and nobody cares about it, and it's been left alone and it's been left to rot, but the previous prime minister put in the groundwork that needed to be done to even be able to utilize the building or do anything with it in the first place. So so Justin Trudeau is not a prime minister who left it dilapidated. Admittedly, he was prime minister for 10 years, and he didn't do that until 2020. It ended in 2024, started in 2023, which was like a year before he left office. Roughly. So you might criticize his timeline, but you can't say he didn't do it. Right? And so, like, there's a lot to unpack about what she said and how she's presenting it. Right? There's just a lot to unpack there, because there's just, why are you presenting this as if it's a negative? She's even presenting the concept of the analogy that she brought up as if it's a bad thing to do. Why is viewing the building, which is a heritage building that represents us as a country, because that's the building that people are that's where our prime minister's supposed to be living. That's where people are supposed to meet with the prime minister, and they're not doing that because the building has been left to go fuck itself. It does represent the face of Canada to some degree. Now, how much weight you want to put on that can vary, and that's fine, and that's going to be up to the people, and why they should or should not is a real conversation. But she brings this up flippantly, brushes it off, and then presents it as if it's a bad thing, but then proceeds to use that to justify her own feelings about it. Right? Like, that's that whole, like, that is just in that short bit of time that I was even kept interrupting her as I was, like, processing what she was saying. Right? That's why these videos take so long, because there's so, what is this? And then plus my interaction with you guys. Yeah, it's a failure of multiple prime ministers that is finally getting fixed. Right? Had, like they talked about with Harper and Jean Chrétien. Jean Chrétien was had a whole thing with that building, and then Stephen Harper, like they described, rode it into the ground, and then just expected, and then people complained because Justin Trudeau just didn't immediately go to fix all of the shit that fucking Harper did. Like, Tom says, I could be going on a limb, but I think one of their issues, meaning the line Matt and Jen, is that they can't stand Pierre Poilievre, so they don't think that there's any legit opposition to Carney. They might be right about that. Like, it depends on how they're presenting it, but they might be correct that there's not really any decent opposition to Mark Carney. And part of that is because a lot of what he's presenting is good for conservatives. There's no reason to really be opposed in the way that Pierre Poilievre plays the opposition, right? The way the Conservative Party is traditionally, I shouldn't say traditionally, has been in recent history playing the opposition is just to oppose everything everybody is doing, oppose any progress, which is not what the opposition is supposed to do, right? And I'm starting to see some of that sprinkled in to the Democratic Party and the new leader of the Democratic Party, the NDP, new leader of the new Democratic Party. Blah, 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 blah. I'm seeing some of this bullshit, like the stuff with Maid that we talked about. So I don't know, but I feel like I owed you guys a little bit of an explanation as to like why it takes me so long to go through these videos. Like, we're only like 10 minutes into this. To be fair, I was chatting for like 40 minutes before we started, but you know, like I'm doing actually pretty well. I should actually legitimately time myself one of these times, but I'm gonna put her back so we can actually like listen to her full thought process. I do feel bad that I was interrupting her a little bit as I was like being like, what the fuck are you talking about? Which is a little bit unfair. It's a little bit unfair on my part. Let's let her talk and see what she says. Hey, shut up. No, stop. Cease. Desist. Okay, there we go.
Symbolic and emotional weight, because it really has. This is
office.
Oh, you know, it could do worse. All right, look. So firstly, I think that we need to understand that part of the reason why this is such a big deal is that 24 Sussex has taken on disproportionate symbolic and emotional weight, because it really has become a living example of Canada. You know what I mean? Like, still.
Okay, so why? And is that... Okay, let me... How do I start this? Why is it disproportionate? Like, you're saying, not that people think this, you're saying that the House is representative of Canada itself, the country. This building is representative of the country. And you're saying that's accurate, and that it is that way. And then, but before that, you said it's disproportionate. Why? What about what is disproportionate? How? In what way? What do you mean? And it's weird to tie this into what Matt said earlier, which was that Carney presented this situation as a heritage thing implying and suggesting that it's not a heritage thing, and then she turns around and says that it's representative of the country. So how is, like, I feel like I'm getting conflicting messages. You know what I mean? To be fair, it's a lot harder to do this kind of content without the time and what's the word I'm looking for? Substance. Like what I'm saying, I'm going in depth, and not every type of content is designed or intended to go as in depth as what I'm doing here. But this is because I'm analyzing them, right?
It looks okay on the outside, rats in the walls on the inside. And every single sort of reason why Canada has become sclerotic and unable to fix its own problems have been replicated in microcosm with our relationship to this stupid house. Okay? So
the other part of this is, like, I don't really have any context, because this is the first of their videos that I'm watching. I don't know what problems Canada has that Canada's not able to fix that are our problems. Right? So, like, what is she referring to? Is she referring to the tariffs? Because that's not we can't fix that. That's not something we can't control Donald Trump. We can't control the United States. Are you talking about the housing crisis? Because the housing crisis is a little bit more complicated than just Canada fixing itself. The housing crisis is like a global issue. Climate change and fires and bad weather being destructive, or housing insurance being crazy. Well, that's a climate change issue. That's global. Are you talking about, like, not having enough nurses in hospitals and stuff? Because that's not really the federal government, that's the provincial government. And so if the provincial government isn't doing something about it, then why? Is it because the provincial government isn't capable of doing that? Or is it because because the provincial government doesn't want to do that? Or are they doing something else, or doing something different? Right? Nobody can control me, not even me. I know, right? Be happy if Canada could control us right now. I've heard that a couple of times. Donald Trump can't control himself. How is anybody else going to? I know, right? So, like, I'm not entirely sure what problem, quote unquote, we're not supposed to be able to fix that we're supposed to be doing. Because it's not the crime rate. Our crime rate is fine. Like, there's not really an issue with our crime rate. That's a pretend problem. That's not a real problem. Is it the taxes? I mean, given your sponsor, yeah, I agree there might be a taxing problem we might need to do something about. But I don't think that's because it doesn't seem to be not because we can't do anything about it. It's because we aren't currently doing anything about it, which is a different complaint. So, like, what, for example? Such as, please elaborate.
That's why it's really important and symbolically important that Mark Carney has announced the fixing of the house. It's also why it makes me want to shoot myself that he's announced the fixing of the house in this particular way. This is the wrong way to fix the house. The correct way to...
What way? This is my problem. They haven't gone through the actual thing yet. They haven't gone through the thing. Well, I guess it's also possible that, like, she's basing this off of what Matt said, and what Matt said is incorrect about the way they're going through fixing the house. So because they've misrepresented or gotten it wrong, maybe it's not intentional, maybe they just made an assumption that isn't there. The fact that they got that wrong is now a compounding issue where she's upset about a situation that isn't actually the situation. So it's like you're mad at nothing.
To fix the house is to announce, like, a $50 million budget, along with, we're going to basically knock this house to the ground because restoring it at this point is probably not feasible. And we're going to...
Why? Why is this the correct way? Why is your way the correct way to fix the house? Because your way is not fixing the house at all. Your way is demolishing everything and then building something new. And you know what this is very akin to? This is very akin to MAGA talk. Because MAGA talk is everything is broken, drain the swamp, burn it to the ground, and then rebuild it from there. But now everybody's freaking out that they're burning the structure to the ground. Because you shouldn't burn the structure to the ground while you're still in it. Burning, if we want to follow through her analogy, she is suggesting bulldozing Canada because it's useless and not fixable and not viable to even bother putting any resources in. Therefore, we should just burn Canada to the ground, all of our institutions, everything, and build it up from scratch. And she's suggesting that as the better idea without presenting why. Just because that's how she feels about it. If you're just talking about money, bulldozing Sussex and building something new, or not even bothering to bulldoze Sussex and just building something new somewhere else, would be the most cost-effective thing to do. If you're only talking about money. But if you're, this isn't a conversation just about money, is it? It's a conversation about national representation and pride and how we view ourselves as a country, at least according to her, and our heritage. At least according to him. So do we want to bulldoze our entire heritage? Do we want to bulldoze our history? Do we want to bulldoze who we are as people? Do we want to bulldoze our entire institutions and all of our structures? Because you feel like it's not working? Without telling us why. I mean, I'm willing to grant that maybe she has explained why in other videos and not in this video. So there's a prior reference that I'm not familiar with. So I'm willing to grant that. But... well, the problem is woke culture. Oh. I saw some of the most racist, weird fucking shit the other day pop up on my feed about two guys saying which one is better, Canada or the United States, and it was just like trivia facts where it's like, oh, who has the most lakes? Who has or who drinks the most alcohol per capita? But then suddenly it turned into which one has a leader who did blackface. And then they were like, oh yeah, Justin Trudeau, because he's super racist. And that's why he's so up the ass of all the Indians. And I was like, whoa! I was like, what the fuck? What is this video? Good God. I should show it to you guys. It was weird. It was a weird video, because it was like, hey, we're trying to pretend that Canada is better than the United States while also spending all of our time shitting on Canada, which was kind of weird. It was a weird juxtaposition. I didn't know what the fuck that was about. The Statue of Liberty in the United States. I think the Statue of Liberty, is that for Dumpfuck Friday? Well, maybe it should be. Maybe I should go find it again and put it on Dumpfuck Friday and let Manya look at it, you know, as somebody from India. The Statue of Liberty, so if I'm remembering correctly, the Statue of Liberty was given to the United States as like a gift from France, right? Just give it to Quebec. Just like shift it up slightly. It's not even that far away. Like Statue of Liberty is in Manhattan, right? That's like New York. So just like, and Quebec's like right above New York. Just like we can put it at the St. Lawrence River, because the St. Lawrence River is kind of like double-sided, right? We could put it right there, and it would still be like France representative. You know what I mean? There's French there. New Brunswick would be good too. I wouldn't hate putting it in New Brunswick. That'd be kind of cool. Oh, hey, Dapper, what up? Welcome. How's it going? Ellis Island, but basically Manhattan. Oh. Sorry, not only am I not very good at geography, but my geography is not... I don't care. I'm sorry, I like my geography of like that much information is not... Lake Michigan? No, I think Lake Michigan is the wrong spot. Because Lake Michigan goes it's the other way, so I think it should move. I think you should just move it almost directly north, maybe a little bit to the east, but not a little bit to the west, but not a whole lot. It should go like St. Lawrence River-y area, and like somewhere at New Brunswick / Quebec. And low key, the reason I'm saying New Brunswick is because New Brunswick could use a tourist trap. It could use something. The only reason I know it's Manhattan is because I watched Escape from New York. Goblin learns geography. Geography is all about memorization, and like I guess language is also like that too. You have to put it at the coast because the whole point of immigrants. That's why it's the St. Lawrence River. The St. Lawrence River comes all the way in from the ocean. The PEI. PEI would be a really funny place to put it. PEI. I would not hate Newfoundland. Newfoundland would do a good. Like Newfoundland would be pretty good. That'd be a good spot. So just to say, Dapper said that you have to put it at the coast because the whole point is that immigrants coming to a country can see it. The statue is literally a immigration monument. PEI Statue of Liberty would be pretty funny. That'd be a meme. Put it on the Horse Island. Put it on the Horse Island off of PEI. It's a smaller island off of a tiny island. Just slap the Statue of Liberty in the middle. That won't disrupt the horses at all. It'll be fine. Yeah, there's a whole island off of PEI that is just dedicated to. There's just a whole island of wild horses. Okay, I would hit play on this. I forget what they're talking about. Oh, right. They're saying that we should just burn Canada to the ground.
We knock this house to the ground because we're storing the house. The correct way to fix the house is to announce like a $50 million budget, along with we're going to basically knock this house to the ground because we're storing it at this.
I would like to remind you that it cost $4.3 million just to start decommissioning it. So if you think that 50 million is enough, it might not be enough.
Point is probably not feasible. And we're going to rebuild it in a neo-chateau style. We're going to bring back, and if you know...
Wow, you're picking the style too? Damn.
If you're kind of unfamiliar with the neo-chateau style, it's kind of a uniquely Canadian architectural style that is exemplified with a lot of our railway hotels. Howard England's talked about this on Twitter, and I totally agree with him. It's this weird combination of like French chateau and Scottish kirk. Yeah. You know, it's ornate, it's rather beautiful, it's just a little bit gothic, and it's slightly imposing. This is the style.
And just to add, and pretty uniquely Canadian. The fusion doesn't exist anywhere else.
Correct.
I mean, I kind of like the idea of using that style too. That sounds fun, but you don't need to destroy the building to do that.
This fusion only exists in Canada, and it also is a type of style that prioritizes the use of local building materials. So you go and look at the
they're gonna be doing that
hotels
anyway.
in like Waterton Park, and it's a very cool timber structure. You go look at the chateau in Edmonton or in other places, and you get a lot of unique local stone used in the work as well. So it's a really, really cool style that we should absolutely be bringing back and using more.
But that's not a criticism of the announcement. The announcement is to do a design competition. So who's to say that this style isn't going to win the competition? Like, you're making a good argument for why, when you present yours, you should utilize this style. That's great. Cool. Neat. But that's not a critique of the announcement. Your critique of the announcement was that they should just announce a budget, demolish everything, and just do it this way. What if we don't want, like, but you haven't justified why just burning everything into the ground and not restoring it is the better thing to do. Your only reasoning is what? I don't know yet.
Especially when we're dealing with historic buildings or buildings that are trying to convey a sense of continuation of history and institutional value, right?
But you want to destroy it. You're like, instead of actually doing the continuity, we're going to rip the building down, build something new, and LARP as if we're continuing the continuity. Instead of actually putting in this is lazy. It's lazy! This is what that is. It's like, oh, well, it's probably not feasible to put the work in, and so let's just tear the whole thing down and fucking build something that we want here and pretend like we didn't do that. That's... Why? The building has already been stripped down. All that work is already done. Now it's the design fun part. and then the fun building part, and the unity part, and like you do realize that your proposition absolutely flies in the face of all the beneficial parts, the parts that Matt was saying was good. Where he's like, oh, this makes sense, this is a good thing to be doing this, to be doing that, and to like do this unifying project, although it might be a little bit symbolic in its nature, that's not always a bad thing. It's not, I mean, do you think, okay, guys, chat, tell me what you think about this. Let's pretend the next president of the United States is a super cool guy, he knows what's up, he's fixing all of the problems that Trump did, and he's actually able to do so, right? Like, we're gonna give him this position of power that is not realistic, but for the hypothetical, that's what we're doing. He's able to do all this stuff, and that's what he wants to do, and for, like, he's in office for a year, 2 years, and he's like, all right, we've gotten some of this stuff done, we're renegotiating all of our, like, Kuzma or our USMCA, we're getting all of our shit back, we've reestablished our position in the global market, in the global field, cool, that's all happening, great, trans rights, abortion rights, all that fun stuff. I need to fix the White House. And we want to represent unity and our culture and you know, bring in like who we are as Americans. Do you think they're gonna just rip down the whole White House? Both of you assume America makes it to another person. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I know I'm being a little bit flippant about that. But like, do you think the next guy that comes in just burns the White House to the ground and says that's representative of the country? You think that's a unifying thought process? You think that's unifying symbolism? That's something that's going to bring the country together? When the country and the people in the country have been bitching about getting this building fixed for decades? You think that being like, well, listen, I know you guys really want this building fixed, but now fuck it, I'm going to burn it down and build something else and then pretend that I've continued the continuity. Yeah, I agree that Trump is destroying the White House, but do you think the next guy who comes in is like gonna destroy the White House as like a symbolic No, he might. Like the next person might. I like how I was saying he because I'm making the assumption it's gonna be a man. I wonder why. The next president is gonna, like, maybe they're gonna destroy the ballroom. Yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, if they burn the new ballroom, but not the whole White House, right? They're gonna, like, okay, we're gonna rip down all this gold spackle bullshit. We're gonna fucking take this ballroom down. We're gonna destroy this parking lot, and we're gonna make this a nice walkable garden again or something. Like, with trees and shit. To represent our new fucking climate policy. America will never need another president again. I will live forever and keep America great. I will keep making America great again. Dapper says it's almost certainly going to be a man, the new president, they mean, and I'm also not convinced the ballroom will ever actually be built. Valid. But the construction's gonna stop. Right, with the next person, or the next person who's not, like, a MAGA dictator. Like, that ballroom's not gonna stay. So, like, there's gonna be probably, like, a stripping of the White House that's gonna be, like... I can see that America is such, like, a silly place that I can totally see the next president live streaming it. The next president's gonna be Markiplier, and he's gonna live stream stripping the gold spackling out of the Oval Office. Oh my god. Oh man. Sorry, I would never wish the presidency on Mark. I would never curse him like that. I think he's too much of a silly, funny guy. He doesn't deserve that. YouTube White House Redo channel. Yes. Yes. But like that's the kind of thing that I would expect from the United States. That's not something that I would expect to do. Like, I don't expect there to be live streaming of what's going on, like when they're fixing and restoring Sussex. That's just not how we do things. Because like very much a lot of what America does is spectacle. Like, a lot of it is spectacle. Selling the gold on eBay. Oh my god. That's so smart. That's so smart. Why is that so smart? That's brilliant. I see Donald Trump failed to be able to read a book for small children. No, I didn't. I'm pretty sure I've argued before that I'm pretty convinced that that man can't read. Like, I'm pretty sure he's illiterate. Like, I'm sure he can read some words and some sentences, and he might be able to read a teleprompter, but, like, I don't think he's literate, because it takes more than saying words to be literate. My mom, Markiplier for president. Amazing. Sell the fake gold to Hollywood and mark it up 1000%. Oh, God. Ridiculous. It's so silly. It's so silly. I'm kind of disappointed that the live chat hasn't had much to say.
That's the correct answer. And Mark Carney should have been like,
why is that the correct answer? You can't just state something that is your opinion is the correct answer, because I've already described multiple reasons why your answer kind of sucks. So can you tell me why you think this is the correct answer?
Value, right? That's the correct answer. And Mark Carney should have been like, no, we're not doing this by committee. Like,
why?
We're going to recreate 24 Sussex loosely along historical lines using this particular uniquely Canadian architectural style.
Why?
Moving on, and budget appropriately for it. And understand perfectly well that this is going to be a 10-year project, and it's going to be expensive, and this is what it is.
Nobody has said that it's not going to be a long-term project, and nobody said that it wasn't going to be expensive. So neither of those things are at issue here. Why? Can you explain your opinion at all? Tell Elmo! What do you mean? God, this is one of the reasons why I find these fucking shows, these conservative talking heads, so irritating. And it's not because I think their opinions are bad. Like, I do think their opinions are bad. But that's a separate issue. It's because they don't fucking explain. Like, they don't explain why or how. They just state these things that have incredibly, like, complicated implications and connotations to them. And then when I explain it, I'm the bad guy. But hey, listen, why? You took the time to come out here and do Extreme. Can you explain your point of view? Like, the problem is like, she's saying this about something that is such a good idea, and it's such a good idea, and her co-host already praised it as a good idea. She's just grifting. She sounds like a fucking grifter. Thank you. Yes. Why is she so uninterested in democracy, and how is she so convinced she could catalog house a prime minister's house? Yeah, I know, right? Red Cedar says the architecture composition will drive engagement and get more Canadians involved than just doing it by decree. Yeah. Sussex is something that Canadians already cared about, right? So enabling Canadians to participate in a competition. We've talked about how motivating and how good for a country fucking culture is, and how culture functions and keeps a society healthy, right? Architecture is an art form. She was literally just discussing a uniquely Canadian style of architecture. So why do you not want Canadian architects, to participate in creating and building and restoring Canadian buildings? Yeah! Hi, Atomic Squirrel, welcome. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like, what she's describing is so, like, anti-Canadian. Like, it's so, like, well, we don't want to do anything. We just want to declare the thing and then be done with it and not have to think about it anymore. Although, admittedly, I would like to say that I am far more interested in, like, I think she's just grifting. I think she's wasting our time. I am more interested in Matt explaining why he thinks the building needs to be done, like, now. Because he explained his reasoning. His reasoning was that he thinks it should be done as a declaration and be done in 90 days, like get a committee together, get it done in 90 days and then announce it and then have the project and then we don't have to think about it anymore. Why? Like, why do you think that? And why do you think that that's better? I think that's like a more in-depth conversation as opposed to like, she's just fucking rhetorically.
That would have been correct, decisive signaling of
how
the symbolic thing that he needed to do in this particular moment. And I just hate that we're doing this by committee. Like, I hate that we're doing this by committee, because guess what? Art's not created by committee, guys. Like, there's.
Sorry, excuse. Hold on. I'm sorry. 1 second. One second. I sorry. Hold on. My hair. It's stuck in my hair. Give me. Hold on. Sorry. Please, hold on.
There's a time and a place to be doing consultations and committee stuff.
No. You need to wait for 1 second. One moment. Just. I'm sorry. Just give me one. Just one. Sorry, I just had to do one. I had to do one. Yeah, unfortunately, my facepalm protection has not arrived yet. I do have a Fight the Flat Earth glove coming, but I don't have it yet. The committee isn't creating the designs, bitch. The committee is choosing amongst the designs based on the criteria that the committee is putting forward for the competition. On the other hand, how is you dictating what you want artists and artisans to create, not stifling the creative process when you could get hundreds of thousands of submissions? This is why people are fucking misogynistic. This is why people don't like women. Ah! Ah! I'm fucking gonna die! Ah! What? This is, this fucking, there was a comment that got removed from the chat over here that said they hated Jen. This is why they hate Jen. Oh my god. Art isn't created by commissions, guys. The art's not being created by the commission, dumbass. Like, what are you fucking talking about? This is supposed to be news. This is supposed to be a news podcast. Oh my fucking god. No, EMP's right. This bitch is just a grifter. I don't know if Matt's a grifter yet. This bitch is a grifter. This is absolutely grifting material. This is absolutely, I am a shill and being paid by fucking outside corporations. Jesus fuck. Are you high right now? Are you fucking high? Good. What the fuck? You know what this is? This is fucking. No. Good God. Yeah, we do have good news. We're talking about the good news. This is them presenting the good news of the thing that they supposedly agree with, that they're happy about. Ah! Why? No! Hi, artist here. Shut up. Why are you dissuading the fucking government facilitation of art and artistry within its own country? You're the problem! Oh, I hate it's a commission. Because art commissions don't create art. It's almost like you don't know what a commission is doing in the first place.
And then there's a time and a place to just accept that you have to do, it's art. It's going to be singular and directed, and you have to just...
No! Art is not singular. Art is not directed. It can be both of those things, but art... Have you ever watched a movie? Your podcast isn't singular. No art is singular. You can have a singular artist working on something, but that does not mean that art itself is singular, because guess what? That artist's work and their experience is coming from so much shit that is not singular. That's not fucking art. You don't know what art is. You really think that if you dictated what you wanted that house to look like, and you were like, all right, we're doing that, it's the creation of it is singular? No! You literally, one of your complaints earlier was that it's going to be like fucking firms. That's not singular. So you don't know what the design process is, you don't know what the construction process is, you don't know what the art process is. You don't know what a real timeline looks like for restoring this old kind of building. What do you know? Can you demonstrate something you do actually know? Why are we here?
Pick an artist who understands the vision and give them
Pick me! She's saying pick me! Pick me! Pick me! No!
You have to do... It's art. It's going to be singular and directed, and you have to just pick an artist who understands the vision and give them the budget to do the correct thing. As a total side note, by the way, I also think that the Canadian Embassy in Washington should be razed to the ground and rebuilt on chateau-esque style. Like, I want something more like I don't know if you've seen the current embassy, but it's quite open and kind of modern.
It looks like a concrete bunker.
A concrete bunker that tries to be kind of open. No, it's terrible. It's kind of ugly. And I really think it sends the wrong message. The correct message we should be sending is like ominous and slightly haunted. You know, like I want.
Why? Why is that what you... Okay, first off, why is that what you want? Second off, why do you think the rest of Canadians should want to be ominous and kind of haunting anywhere we go? And to anybody coming and welcoming to why is that? Like, I might not disagree with you, but I need to know why. Like, is the White House an intimidating building? What are you talking about? What do you mean? What is this insane? Ominous and Slightly Haunted is my Cure cover band. That's so not Canada's global vibe either. Like, Canada doesn't have the vibe of being ominous and slightly haunted. That's not... If you guys out there, you guys are watching, what do you think when you think of Canada, and you think of Canada at home or abroad? Because I doubt it's ominous and slightly haunted. Tweaking and nodding are new ominous and hostile. Yeah, it's hostile. She wants to be hostile. Why? Why is she allowed to talk? Because it's her channel. These two guys' channel. Why doesn't this guy stop the ridiculousness? Because it's their channel. It's I think this is the way people viewed me and Steve. Hockey, snow, and syrup? No, I mean like the vibe of like, those are things. Those are items. I want syrup and those are items. Those are nouns. I'm not asking for nouns. I'm asking for a vibe. The people with good weather, spiteful, nice war criminals. There you go. That's better. Like, generally Canadians are known as helpful and polite. Like, those are, and slowly the world is starting to remember that we're also, like, the problem if you let us be. If you put us in that position, we are also, like, a little bit scary. Right? Like, if you know a little bit about Canadian history, you know about our war participation, you know we're a little bit, like... We got a streak of aggression. I mean, hockey and lacrosse are our national sports. So... Yeah, Spiteful Nice War Criminals. Yeah, no, Spiteful Nice War Criminals is pretty good. Nuremberg gang vibes. Canadian vibe. Friendly, hilarious, helpful, and polite. With a little bit of, we're gonna punch you in the face if you fuck with us. The war criminal is kind of iffy. We did things, made it illegal. Yeah, we invented war crimes. We didn't, like, it's not a war crime the first time. Right? Yeah. But so, like, I agree with Mr. Feared, but I'm also gonna add a caveat in that Canadians are incredibly, scarily good at justifying a war crime. Because, and hear me out, if a citizen does it, it's not a war crime. It's spicy. Yeah, a little bit spicy. I feel like Canadians and Australians are, like, simpatico a lot. It's not a war crime the first time. Yeah. So I just don't see ominous and haunting being, like, our vibe. I don't think that's the way we want to represent ourselves to other countries. I don't think that would be a good idea at all. What are we, Romania? Fucking Vampireville? That's not real, that's fake. I'm kidding, that's a joke. But, like... Canada has better weather than Australia. Well, yes. Well, yes. I don't... I just... I don't know. Alright, let's keep going. Why does she think this is a good thing to do? That's what I want to know. Why? Like, this sounds stupid and like a terrible idea, but I mean, you could change my mind if you explain why. Russia seems a little unhappy that Canada's getting U-boats. Oh, gee, I wonder why.
I want that energy right, within sight of the White House. I want kind of closed windows, slightly British finials, more Scottish Kirk energy.
Why?
We're judging you. We think
very large artillery cannons on the roof of the embassy, all aimed directly at the Capitol and the White House. Yeah,
that's a funny joke.
That's what I want. At a minimum, I want someone visiting this to be like, I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to run into a ghost, but I definitely feel disapproved of.
Why? Why do you want... This is an embassy! You're in someone else's house! That's not... Why? Why would you... An embassy... That's not what an embassy is for! Jesus fucking Christ.
But if I do, it would be a bad ghost.
It'd be a bad ghost. Like, that's... And hey...
Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry dating was not on my bingo card. I'm not gonna lie. What an odd pairing that is. Every time I hear about it, I'm like, what? Okay. And then I move on with my day because I don't care about their personal lives. But, like, Jesus. Weird.
We can even use local stone and building styles in order to put this monstrosity in the U.S. Capitol. But I think we should be doing it. Bringing it back.
Why?
We should just hurl big blooms of algae into the reflecting pool every day. Just gigantic blobs of it. Doof, with a catapult.
I like how they're trying to make jokes, but they're not even laughing at their own jokes.
Canada British again. Like, it's just cold. I want more coldness in our architectural style.
To your point, I don't care.
Okay.
about knocking it down versus restoration. I agree with you on the kind of the Neo Chateau thing. Like in general, all of our buildings should look like that.
Yeah, I like the idea of the Neo Chateau thing too. I think that's a great idea because it is very uniquely Canadian. I agree with that part, but that's part of the design contest. That's not something that's not happening yet. So it's an asinine complaint.
I'm with you. I don't honestly have a preference between fixing the existing 24 Sussex and knocking down building. I don't care. I'm agnostic on that. But I agree with
I think I would have been agnostic on it, but until the announcement, and I like the way they're doing it. So I would be agnostic, but now I'm on board.
the existing 24 Sussex and knocking down building. I don't care. I'm agnostic on that. But I agree with you, whatever it is should have simply been a straight up, we're commissioning a guy. Here's who we've chosen.
Why?
He has 3 months to do it. This is the budget. We're using
3
Canadian
months? 3 months? 3 months? You want somebody, you want to just call a guy, not an architect, not a designer, just a guy. Like, presumably you mean an architect, you mean a professional, an expert. You want to call a guy. And you want to say, here's the building, here's the plot of land. You get 3 months to redesign or tear down and build a new building that meets all the requirements that the Prime Minister's building and living place is going to have to meet. 3 months? And you were like, oh, this is going to take 10 years to build and fix. Yeah, that's a reasonable amount of time. Your time scale expectations are absurd. Absolutely absurd. Unreasonable. Wholly unreasonable.
Materials, Canadian companies, Canadian firms, and we're doing it in 2 years. Like that.
Why?
There are... See, the Prime Minister, I think, kind of rightly was like, hey, we'll have a design competition. We'll showcase some of the greatness of Canada. It's
okay, so you agree about the design competition part, and you agree about this unifying idea. What the
part of our history. I think he understood that there was a need to wed something symbolic to the announcement, but there's different kinds.
The whole announcement is symbolic. The building is symbolic. The whole thing is symbolic. Symbolic. Hi, Warren. How you doing? Can we get the Canadian geese honk in the chat? Can we people who are members? Could you please honk, please? Because this is a honking scenario. This is a very honking situation. Yeah, this situation requires some geese. Thank you. We require some angry Canadian geese holding butter knives. Tell me more about how these guys don't know what they're talking about. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Kinds of symbolism. We could have just done it as a symbolic display of our ruthless determination to fix broken things.
Yes.
How is that not doing it? Doing it at a longer time scale and doing it right is equally as symbolic and still equally as symbolic related to the fucking persistence and fixing of problems. I already got my beer. I'm gonna go get another one in a minute.
Do that with the design contest.
And instead what we're going to get is some like pale imitation of a Frank Gehry building that's going to wind up looking like the AGO Crystal. Like that's
How do you know that? How do you know? Why do you think that there's no architects in Canada that are familiar with Canadian architecture? I can't believe these people! You actually think that the fucking Canadian Architecture Commission, made up of Canadian designers and architects that are the peak of their field, are gonna run and do a design contest that they spend a whole year putting together? They're gonna take submissions from architects and designers all across the country, and you dumb fucks think that not a single one of those design and historical experts in architecture are going to pick something Canadian for the Canada building? Are you what? And here's the other thing. So what if it's not a historically Canadian design? Why is that a problem? What if we do something uniquely Canadian and new instead of something old? Like, instead of an older style design. What if we do something new? Is that a problem? Why is that a problem? You can just bitch about anything. That's what this is.
Where this is going. I know it. I can feel this in my bones.
That's how she feels about it. She doesn't have any evidence. She doesn't have any reasoning. That's just how she feels about it. And that's what we've been dealing with this entire time, is just the whole time she's been talking, she has simply just been projecting how she feels on everything as her own form of YouTube therapy. That's it. That's all this is. She doesn't know anything about these things. She doesn't know anything about the design process, the construction process. She doesn't know. Tom! You promised me that these two were reasonable! You lied to me! I feel this is my bones because I'm special, everyone. I know, Source, I made it the fuck up! Oh my fucking god. You know how earlier she said this makes her feel like she wants to shoot herself in the head? Don't let your dreams be memes, lady! Holy shit!
Or the Edmonton Library.
Or the Edmonton Library. Yeah, like that's what we're gonna do. We're not gonna be
What's
able to
wrong with the Edmonton Library? Why are you... Alright, let me look up the Edmonton Library. Let me see if I can see anything that I think is wrong with it. What's... It's a library! What's the problem? I go to their website, see what they got. They have a picture of their building. No, should we go to Google Maps? Let's go. I'm going to Google Maps, guys. Edmonton Library. Wow, it autofilled the Edmonton liquor stores. Oh boy. Alright, so there's a couple Edmonton libraries. Presumably they're talking about the big one. In the center of the city. This thing? This big thing? Take a look at it. What's wrong with this? What's the problem? Guys, why isn't the building in red and black? Like, it's not even finished. Like, this is still cut off, so we're not even seeing the whole thing. Presumably that I got the actual correct building. It's actually not that unsimilar to the one in in Halifax in Nova Scotia. Which is, it's a little bit taller. But, like, what? Yeah, the library's open till 9. Yeah? Yeah, our libraries are open pretty late. Especially like the big fucking center ones. What? It's not as ugly as a university. What's the problem? What's the issue? Oh, I did get the correct one. Yep, it says library. 9999. Looks like a crew. Oh, it's a ship. Alright. Alright, keep going, whatever.
We divorce ourselves from the mistake of brutalism, and it's going to be, hey, beauty in its own way. No, goddamn.
What is... So she's just an architect critic now about, like, different styles of architecture. Some brutal architecture is cool looking, some of it sucks. Like, whatever, that's just, like, your opinion, man.
Chateau-esque.
Maybe that's
This
why...
is coming from the lady and guy who want the design done in 3 months.
Like, fixing the building makes more sense then. Like, I have more faith in their ability to fix something that exists than I do for them to create something new.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's maybe true. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, there's two...
Who is they? Who is they? The government's not doing this! The government's not the one doing it! They're specifically got a separate commission, so your complaint has been validated by your other thing you're complaining about. What do you want? You don't trust the government to be doing it, so the government's not doing it, but you don't like that it's a commission. So what the fuck do you want, guys? You just want a bitch. Them. Emperor Palpatine Memorial Library. Ah!
Two kinds of Canadians. There's the Canadians who want the Frank Gehry AGO crystal knockoff, and there are the kinds of Canadians that want the replication of the majestic Scottish medieval castle in Banff, you know? A lot in common with you.
That result.
Oh, whoops, I skipped all their content. Who fucking... No, that's so stupid.
Would have simply been a straight up work. But I agree with you, whatever you're Canadian in 2 years. Of our history, bollock, display
Said
that.
what Gary building. I can feel this in my bone. Yeah. Way. No.
Like, fixing the building makes more sense.
Just saying, like, there's two kinds of Canadians. There's the Canadians who want the Frank Gehry AGO crystal knockoff, and there are the kinds of Canadians that want the replication of the majestic Scottish medieval castle in Banff, you know?
Yes, that's what is Canadian. Scottish. Thank you, Mr. Yes! Yes, you want to... Well, listen, we can't invent our own shit. We gotta fucking rip off the Scots.
I can tell you what kind of Canadian the line is.
I didn't even really pay that much attention to it this week, but for some reason the Canadian Human Rights Museum
That's such a weird us or them thing that she just presented that doesn't make any sense, so I'm just gonna skip it. Like, there's a lot to unpack there, but I'm just gonna throw the whole thing out.
Again this week. Maybe we just get like a really big helicopter and we just lift it out of Winnipeg and move it to Ottawa and just drop it and it becomes the Prime Minister's residence. We just stop having a Human Rights Museum and we just reuse the...
We just stop having a Human Rights Museum? Are you sure that's something you want to say? And live with the implications of what you're talking about?
The building?
No. Here's the compromise that we come up to it with. It's the Canadian compromise.
Yeah, Red Cedar makes a good point. Why do you not trust the government to do this? Even though the government's not even the ones doing it. Why? What is your skepticism based off of? I'm not saying your skepticism is invalid, but I can't make that decision about whether your skepticism is valid or invalid until you explain. What is the point of your channel if you're not going to explain anything?
Yeah, but we just reuse the building?
No. Here's the compromise that we come up to it with. It's the Canadian compromise, and that's anything that kind of has to do with an establishment of post-1960s values. They can have lots of glass and brutalism, and anything that's meant to replicate or communicate a sense of how should I say, institutional authority grounded in...
I'm leaving. No, I'm done. Bye. This hateful bitch could not be more, like, fucking misrepresentative of a fucking position. What the fuck? Can you be more disingenuous? Could you be... Could you be more awful? I just want to get to the point where they're done talking about Sussex, because they're saying a whole lot of nothing besides just being shitty. Like, they're just being shitty and complaining. That's all they're doing. They're not providing any answers. They're not providing any particularly good additional insights to anything. They're not fucking justifying their shitty positions of being shitty. Institutional everything, every politics after the 1960s in Canada was institutional authority? How? Why? What are we talking about? This is literally fucking nonsense. This is nonsense.
Shared British tradition. We get Chateauesque. I think that's a fair trade-off.
That's literally insane. You're trying to delineate political ideology that you're imposing on everybody all by yourself with a physical identifier as to when it was made or built, or what it's trying to do and represent. Shouldn't you leave that up to the artists? Like you said earlier?
I don't know, Jen, I don't know if you realize this, but you realize you are volunteering yourself in real time to write the dispatch blurb this weekend for this.
I've voluntold myself, haven't I?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
But the point, so, okay, I'm with you 100%. Go, whatever, is it Neo Chateau, whatever it's called?
I'm with you because I don't care.
There's a couple different, it's like railway Gothic style, it's Neo Chateau, like there's a couple different words for it. But
Howard
the only thing you're willing to explain is the details of this style of architecture, and I think that says something. This stream is an hour long and we're 15 minutes into it. We are not watching the whole thing today. I'm just gonna get through the Sussex part, and then I'm gonna be done. I'm out.
Call it. All right.
Hey, okay, I'm with you, and I will yield the writing of that dispatch blurb to you. Here is the actual more interesting point, though, and it's kind of a point in two parts, and you've partially made the first one already. This is allowing 24 Sussex to like crumble into a rat-infested Hulk is very symbolic of how we've treated a lot of our cultural institutions and our national institutions over the last few generations, like healthcare system, armed forces.
I told you! What did I call like an hour ago? I was like, you're talking about the healthcare system? Because that's not a federal thing, that's a provincial thing. God fucking damn it! Drink for prediction! Alright, they're gonna go into something new, so I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna go get another fucking beer because I need it. Fuck these people. Oh my god, maybe this is gonna get better. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe I can dream. One tear. Alright, I'll be right back.
right in front of me. That's where I found an empty glass, reflecting that's a truth. It's telling words not to be told. I need that mask. I'm a sharpshooter at this masquerade, heart in both face and mind. All free for you to draw. have to see me, just a cage of bones. There's nothing inside. Will it always be burning down the walls? Is there a way for me to break? I'm a sharpshooter at Post Masquerade. I'm in both face and mind, all free for you to draw. I'm a shapeshifter, have no face to show. Please don't take off my mask, my disguise.
Okay, I'm back. I lied. I went and got I went and got more hot water for tea, because if I crack another beer, I'm gonna make the mistake of continuing to watch these stupid motherfuckers that are drifting off of anti-Canada rhetoric. Because that's what this is, to say the least. Traitorous might be a little bit aggressive for them so far, but you know. Okay. Mixing beer with tea? No, I've never tried to mix beer with tea. I've mixed different liquor with tea, but not beer. Need another can of breakfast. Yeah, after I'm done with this. I'm almost done. We're almost done. We're almost there. Okay. Alright, they're starting on a new point. Go.
We've partially made the first one already. This is allowing 24 Sussex to like crumble into a rat-infested Hulk is very symbolic of how we've treated a lot of our cultural institutions and our national institutions over the last few generations. Like,
I will remind you that the person who allowed it to do that was Stephen Harper, and the person who started restoring it and removed the rats and the infestations was Justin Trudeau. Just, they're making this analogy, so follow it through.
healthcare system, armed forces, immigration proposals, rule of
All of these things have been updated in the last year alone, let alone changes that are coming down, by Mark Carney already. So I guess you're right in that it is analogous and that Mark Carney is going around after Trudeau did a bunch of gutting.
of law, democracy itself. Like, they all kind of got
What?
the 24 sus.
What? What do you you mean democracy itself? I'm sorry, when did we stop having democracy in Canada? What are you talking? You're delusional.
Treatment in recent years, generations. And I know we don't want to torture the metaphor.
One of the things that people like this have bitched about is Bill C-17. That was the thing Jordan Peterson was bitching about back when he was still around. He may or may not currently be dead. He's living in Mitch McConnell land right now. It was selling a bunch of bullshit that was going to happen and slippery slope fallacying your way and saying that these laws are problematic, and they're not, and they haven't been. So Bill C-17 is the added LGBTQ plus people to the protected harassment clauses in our pre-existing laws. How is that not democracy? How is that not... Like, in what world? In what world are you living, sir? Because it's not reality.
But the kind of political gutlessness that results in us ending up in a situation where the Prime Minister,
which was Stephen Harper by your own admission,
nominal official residence is uninhabitable, is a betrayal.
Which was Stephen Harper by your admission.
Of something pretty profoundly, deeply wrong in a civilization. That doesn't happen when things are going well.
Which was Stephen Harper by your own admission. Again, they literally described what Stephen Harper did to Sussex as driving it into the ground. How is our political poll, how is the political spectrum in our polls that went from a huge fucking lead for Pierre Poilievre and then flipping drastically the other direction for Mark Carney, not democracy? What about that? It's admittedly unheard of in Canada. We are notoriously slow at making changes like that, which is one of the reasons why Stephen Harper was in power as long as he was. And also one of the reasons why Justin Trudeau was in power for as long as he was. So what about that drastic shift is not democracy. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not democracy. In fact, the fact that you don't like it means it probably is democracy. Because that's how democracy works. Describe democracy. Where did democracy touch you on the doll?
And we could spend a lot of time on that, and maybe you want to, maybe you want to kick.
But we're not going to, because we're not going to justify or explain anything we fucking say. We're just going to make these bold fucking nonsense statements that have no fucking bearing in reality, and we're not going to give them a bearing in reality because we would rather live in our delusion of being miserable pieces of shit.
That around a little bit. But I also think just a more interesting thought that kind of jumped out at me, and if I'm volunteering myself to write a blurb, maybe it's this. How much of Mark Carney's job is just going to be announcing things that should have been announced 20 years ago?
Probably a good amount. Because guess who was in power for 20 years, or for 10 years? Stephen Harper. And then who was in charge? Justin Trudeau. So you're literally admitting that shit didn't get done by Stephen Harper and the Conservatives. And then you're just expecting Trudeau to have cleaned up the mess 10 years ago, even though that may or may not have been possible based on whatever the issue was? So it's all Harper's fault? Is that where we're at? There's a bunch of problems that Harper did that haven't been resolved? Because I would agree with that. But why do I feel like that's not what you're saying?
How many years do we need to have this guy as prime minister just to kind of get caught up to the present?
I mean, to be fair, this guy has been in office for 1 year so far.
Like him to spend a little bit more time doing that and a little less time announcing things like condo bailouts and sovereign wealth funds.
How are those things not related to doing things that should have been done 20 years ago? I will remind you that during Harper's tenure, Pierre Polyev was the person in charge of housing. He was the housing minister. What? What? What is this? What is this? Did Harper bury climate change data? Don't say he didn't get anything done. Yo, oh my god. Why you gotta bring up the climate data? It hurts. The pain.
Emotional damage.
Can we get him to do that stuff first?
I think
What
it's,
stuff? You haven't even met. You just said stuff that should have been done 20 years ago. Like what? What didn't Harper do that Harper was supposed to be doing? What did Harper do that Justin Trudeau was supposed to be fixing that he didn't get to during his time? What stuff?
politically interesting that he spent, I mean, when he took office, like his election was in what, April? Then he was in office in March.
Yeah, I think we're 15 months in.
About 15 months? Yeah, that's, I was trying to do math on the fly, and that never ends well for me. But okay, call it 15 months.
I feel that.
Me announcing some version of "We're fixing 24 Sussex" should have been a day 2 news dump item.
Why? You said that at the beginning. You're just repeating yourself. Why?
Where you should, like I said, you should have had a plan going in. What are the
Why?
100 things that are horribly
Do you really not you are sitting here saying that there should be a priority list, and then you're complaining that this thing that is like symbolic is not at the highest part of the priority list? This is a unifying pet project that we're doing to feel better about ourselves instead of being shitty all the time. Because you're allowed to give yourself a treat once in a while when you do stuff. Yeah, Sussex was a major issue. Yeah, like the housing isn't an issue. Like the fucking sovereign wealth fund isn't an issue and isn't addressing issues. Like the rail, like the taxes that he cut. People like this make me like Mark Carney more as opposed to the other way. Because this is what I mean is bad opposition. All you're doing is being shitty. You're presenting the political equivalent of flat earth arguments and young earth creationist arguments. Because you don't have anything of substance to say. All you're doing is trying to throw spitballs and hope you're poking holes in what the other person is doing. But it doesn't even come across as that because you don't even have a legitimate argument or point that you're pointing out. Yeah, was Sussex a fucking campaign issue? I thought it was the economic warfare. You think? You think there was maybe priorities about dealing with that? And like, this is just he's just at the beginning of his second year of his term. I think this is a perfect time. Because you know what there was already a shitload of unity in Canada based on fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, finished Journey. We talked about that earlier. There was a ton of already existing, negatively focused Canadian unity because the unity was around fuck that guy in particular. And so when that's not going to last forever. Donald Trump is also not going to last forever. So you need something that is more positive and in a more positive direction, which has been Carney's entire fucking vibe the whole time. He's been like, building Canada strong. Oh, it's not about like this or that. It's about unifying and becoming and building ourselves and making ourselves better and fixing things that needed to be fixed before and things that needed to be adjusted before. My guy, this is right in line with his vibe because now it is providing a unifying project that boosts the Canadian economy, puts money into the economy, puts money into our own trades, and enables our culture inhabited by our architects and designers. That is a cultural focus direction for Canadians to look in that is unrelated to the negativity in our relationship with the United States. It is a positive point. That's a good thing. It's a good thing. Is it politically fucking advantageous for Mark Carney? Yes. Does that make it nefarious or manipulative? No, it doesn't have to be. It could be. I don't think it is. Maybe I'm wrong. If you think I'm wrong, explain! Tell me why!
Overdue. We're putting out a statement. It's like, hey, I'm pleased to announce, this.
We got 100 things we gotta do, but I'm not gonna name one of them.
Meet the new energy minister, meet the new finance minister. And by the way, at 5:01 in the afternoon, you put out a statement announcing you're doing like 1,000 different things. 24 Sussex should have been one of them.
Why?
It should have been 15 months ago. But I
And it
still
should have
think
been in
it's
Chateau-esque style with an artist that had already been selected.
Shut up! Stop! You're just repeating this fucking thing that is not in contention because we don't know what this... Well, I guess we already know what the style of the building is. It is the style of the building that's already there!
Yeah, sure.
Just because you have a personal aesthetic doesn't mean the entire country is going to meet your entitled fucking overblown ego.
But it just strikes me as I'm writing, or I'm reading and I'm writing and I'm talking about Carney government initiatives.
Uh-huh.
And there's a through line running through almost all of them. Almost all of them.
Okay.
They're all stuff we should have just done already.
Okay, and that's a good thing or a bad thing? Because it seems like you're complaining that he's not doing these things, but now you're saying he is doing these things? Anyone want to bet that if Carney proposed it 15 months ago, right-wingers would have cried that it's a vanity project? Oh yeah, I think that's also I think you're 100% correct. And also I think that's also one of the reasons why he's saying he has no intention of ever living in it. It's not related to him.
Like, Carney has not really yet had the chance to do much that is actually responding to stuff that actually happened on his watch. There was
How? Why? What? He's only been in office for a year. He's made so many fucking trade deals, so many agreements. The recent one with Germany, him being invited to the summit for the Nordic countries. Canada being the only country that is involved in the rearmament of your project that is not part of the EU. The trade war with the United States and circumventing that. NATO, the G7 summit that was hosted in Canada last year. The recent one that went by. The fucking big United Nations speech that he gave. The Paris Accords. The coalition of the willing in relation to Ukraine and Russia, circumventing in totality the United States. His agreements that he's been talking about with both France and is it France and is it the UK? France and somebody else talking about intervening and the intervening we have done in Palestine versus Israel. I'm upset because Carney wasn't prime minister 20 years ago. Now analyzing this, they don't like Pierre Poilievre, they don't like Trudeau, they don't like Harper, and they are questionable about Carney. At a certain point, saying you don't like anything isn't helpful. Yeah, what would you like? You're right, Tom. Like, fine, you don't like any of these people. You're not trying to speak up. You are being critical of these things. Okay, great. Now add something constructive to your criticism. Now, not all criticism has to be constructive. You can just be critical, and that's okay. But you need to explain why. Because all you're doing is making statements or accusations without giving them any substance. And when they have no substance, they're useless. So you don't have to be constructive, but you need to at least provide some substance to what you're saying. And there's no substance here.
Announcement a few days ago. I'm not going to go military nerd on you here, but Canada bought the Australian radars for NORAD that
Ages ago, yes.
we were talking about that about a decade.
Mhm.
You know, we still don't have an F-35 yay or nay decision, but we've been talking about
We've got some of that, but that's getting its. In my opinion, the F-35 stuff is being that they're dragging their heels, and that's intentional. That's on purpose.
that since before Stephen Harper was elected. We're
My
talking
prevailing
now.
theory, talking about Canadian sort of non-solution solutions, my prevailing theory in terms of what we're going to do is we're going to buy all 88 F-35s and then we're going to buy another 120 Gripens.
We should do that.
We should do that. But wouldn't that be perfect? Because then we're totally fulfilling
Why?
our obligations to the Americans. They've got nothing to complain about, but we're also giving them the finger at the same time.
Yes.
It's kind of the perfect Canadian solution.
So you want to spend a bunch of money? No, we're dragging our feet on purpose about that. You know why? You know why we might be dragging our feet on purpose about that? And what's the value of spending all that money? And who's paying for it? Remember what I said? Canadians are very motivated by spite? But you have to temper it with logistics and reasoning, and you can't just go on how your bones feel at that particular moment on that particular day. There needs to be reasoning behind it.
Solution.
That's a big part of why I think we should do that. It's one of the things I've said this before, and I don't like talking about the former prime minister. He's into his banging pop star era, and I don't say that dismissively.
I don't say that dismissively. I say it with disdain.
I think it's fantastic. Like I could.
Katy Perry is doing a service to both us and the American relationship.
This will sound
God bless
snarky.
you.
I can only assure people I mean this with 100% sincerity.
Why is that doing us favors? Why is Justin Trudeau's personal relationship with Katy Perry doing good things? How? For the relationship between... It has nothing to do with the relationship between Americans and Canadians. Zero. If anything, it makes me think a little bit less of Justin Trudeau. Bro's got bad taste. But then again, maybe he's fixing her. I don't know. I'm not paying that close attention to their fucking relationship because I don't fucking care. What do you mean? Okay, say what you were gonna say with snark, because I feel like you're confusing the word snark with malice. But that's okay for now. We'll see.
American relationship.
This will sound
God bless
snarky.
you.
I can only assure people I mean this with 100% sincerity. I could not be happier for Justin Trudeau. This is amazing. Congratulations. I wish him all the best. Like, this is...
Why does this sound like men think Katy Perry is hot, therefore wink wink? Like, it's gross. It doesn't sound snarky, it just sounds gross. The more sincere you think you are being about this, the more gross it sounds.
The best possible fate for him, and
What?
may he enjoy it, because I know I would.
Yeah, see? I know I would. Drink for prediction. Man being creepy because ew. Okay. Gross. Didn't need that.
One of the things that I do think
Nobody
is becoming
asked.
more and more clear the more we have Carney around. We're only 15 months into him. Every day of Carney makes Trudeau look worse.
Oh, that tells me that you don't understand half of what fucking Justin Trudeau was doing.
Yeah, except here's what I would say is I still think you have a fundamental liberal government that's caught up on symbolism over action.
Yes.
Why? You literally just complained that they didn't do the symbolism thing that you're bitching about until a year in. And you're saying they should have done the symbolism thing earlier. Could these people not contradict themselves every other sentence, please? I have a squishy monkey. He's a stress ball. These guys are stressing me out.
The fundamental difference between Carney and Trudeau is that Carney's symbolism is better and more correct.
How? In what way? Give me a compare and contrast.
It's also somewhat less symbolic. He actually has done things. Not a
What has
lot.
he done? What's he done?
Yeah, what has Carney done? He's basically done nothing.
Announcing the damn house is good. Buying the radar is good. The military pay raise is good. Talking about buying some of the equipment he's bought is good. Most of my examples, I confess, do come from defense because that's where I spend a lot of time and attention.
That's fair and valid. Sorry, excuse me 1 second. I put a thing on the stove and it's probably boiling now and I gotta set it to a 7. Because fuck these people, I have other shit to do. I made turkey soup yesterday and my whole house smells like turkey soup, and now I'm taking all the leftover vegetables from the turkey soup and I'm making it into a vegetable stock. You want a squishy monkey? Are they on mushrooms? I don't know. As far as I know, mushrooms aren't quite legal in Canada yet.
But I just like the fact that things that I've been waiting to see happen for a long, long time are happening.
Good!
But all of the accomplishments here are buying things. Like,
As opposed to what? What do you want them to do that doesn't include buying things? The trade deals that didn't get mentioned? The getting the fucking rearmament contract? The going and renegotiating with China for canola oil? And travel and cultural exchange? No? None of that stuff?
Yeah,
I don't diminish that because we need to buy things.
the last guy couldn't even do that.
Yes, and I get that. So
That's definitively not true. One of the things that people like this were complaining about at the time was that Trudeau was spending too much money. Are you going to talk about the pipeline that Trudeau built? They want to get things for free, like all conservatives.
it's an improvement. But like, this is like saying, you know, I'm a hero of the household because I got to do the easy part. Like, money go out is the easy part.
No, it's not! Budgeting and deciding and prioritizing what to spend money on is not easy! Good God. Every other sentence this woman says makes me want to pull my hair out.
Actually performing the internal structures and getting money coming in, that's hard.
You mean like all of the trade deals? You mean like the investment agreements that we have with places like Indonesia for $40 billion? Like that? Like the rearmament of Europe thing that I keep bringing up? Like that kind of stuff?
I don't disagree with that, but what I'm telling you is that even a
The
guy...
canola, so you agree with the canola oil trade deal with China? No?
willing to do the easy stuff is a major upgrade over what we had.
Okay, but that's still too low a bar.
Yes, but it's a major upgrade. It's both.
Look, I will admit
Okay, so then what do you want?
that when we get 24 Sussex, the giant Frank Gehry knockoff blob,
Just big
that will
shit.
But it's not going to be that. They're restructured. They're building the building that's already there, which was the thing you were complaining about. So you're not going to get the thing you think you're going to get because they already said they're building the building that's already there, which is the thing you acknowledged and complained about. You're complaining about a hypothetical thing that you invented in your head that contradicts the thing you are also already complaining about. This is just bitch inception.
that was a giant shard.
Sticking straight up.
You know, that's not even fully glass, and half of it because they decided that they overspent their glass budget. So like,
The rest of it's just concrete.
like, concrete.
Yeah.
Okay, like that will be improvement over the rat-infested shithole. Okay, I will.
But it's no longer a rat-infested shithole and hasn't been because Trudeau cleaned it out. The guy you're bitching about that didn't do the thing, and Carney doing the easy part of redesigning the building that you're talking about, which is the spending money part, and Trudeau who did the work of pulling all the rats out of the building. You're just pretending that the pulling the rats out of the building thing didn't happen.
concede that point. It's still not.
Do you think, alright chat, do you guys think that these guys have even looked at the building? Like, the images of the building, like these. Do you guys think that these guys have even fucking looked at this? Do you think they've even looked? I bet you they haven't. I bet you they have not.
Not good enough.
I know. Oh no, Carney's not doing a good enough job, but he's doing things the last guy wouldn't. I think history is going to have a hard time, to the extent history is going to care about what Canada was up to in the early 21st century, and believe me,
People are going to care more about what Canada was up to right now than they have about Canada historically. Do you want to know why people don't notice or care as much about what Canada was up to, like during World War II, for example? Because one, there's only America and not America, and you're viewing this through American lenses. You're not viewing this from a global lens, and that there are, in fact, other countries that have very much cared what Canada was up to during World War II. Like Germany, for example, like Denmark, for example, care very, very much what Canada was up to. On the other hand, because we're literally geographically beside the United States, and the United States is so loud and obnoxious that we are more than content to just sift underneath the radar. And thirdly, because the people who ran the radio and controlled the airwaves and the propagation of information during World War II was the Americans and the British. And the amount of work that Churchill had to do to ensure that Canada was treated as a separate nation joining and assisting the UK was an incredibly huge amount of fucking work. Canada nearly left World War II because of the way Britain was reporting on Canada and what was going on in the war to them, because they were subverting Canada's contributions and taking them as their own. On multiple occasions. So there's a decent amount that Canada did that we don't know about, because it was subverted under other things. But the statistics are there. Those numbers don't lie. People care more about what Canada is doing right now, and will care whether we succeed or not. They're going to care because this is a huge turn of the century situation. This is massive. There's a massive global upheaval. So to try to pretend that just the rest of the being so flippant about whether or not the rest of the world is gonna give a shit about Canada because we don't matter globally, and that seems to be your default position, is representative of your bias that we've been listening to this entire time. The disdain that you have for your country.
me, I'm not assuming that's a lot. But to the
See?
extent that history ends up caring, I think people are going to be perplexed by Canada between, say, 2018 and 2025.
Why?
They're going to look at it like, what?
That's
Why?
optimistic. I'm willing to
Why? Why?
accept that they might be perplexed between Canada 2018 and Canada 2030 at this rate.
I know.
Why?
At least, like, there was this, you know, and again, I know I'm setting a low bar for Carney here. I get that, and I don't deny that. But one of the things that changed when Trudeau went and Carney came was that we at least started talking about the right stuff, and whether or not we're able to do it, I don't know. I'm not bullish on Canadian.
Why?
Done.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm out. That's it. I give up. These people aren't gonna tell me anything worthwhile. They're not gonna have an opinion worth of shit because they're not giving their opinions any fucking goddamn substance. I'm done. I'm out. I can't wait to watch them again another day. Holy shit. My guy, could you be any more useless as a contributor? Oh my lord. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not watching any more of this asinine garbage. I made it 23 minutes into their video. Talking about the right stuff. Like what? Like, what's the right stuff? The pipeline? about dealing with other countries, about separating from the United States. That's stuff Trudeau was doing. Fixing Sussex? That's stuff Trudeau was working on. You just refuse to, you just live in an alternate reality. Jesus fucking Christ. My guy. Cease, desist. Read a book. Unbelievable. Watch these people who know nothing about anything having opinions about everything that they know nothing about. Bro, they don't even know how art works. Admittedly, art is complicated. So like, I think people think artistry is simple. It's not. I think they're anti-everything. Yeah, they're just shitty. They're just shitty people miserable with everything. Like, they're just mad at the world and think the world owes them something. And who the fuck are you? They're just entitled white people who want to do nothing but make money off of bitching and never accomplishing anything. That's all this is. That's all this is. It's not even like deep. It's so shallow. Their understanding of policy and politics and the interconnectivity between those things from even a national scale, let alone and the psychology that goes on and the sociology that happens is just like, I'm just a little fucking goblin and I grasp this shit better. So if they don't grasp it, they're either so shallow or it's drifting on purpose, or some blend of the two at this point, because like so much of this was dishonest. So much of this was just misrepresentative of material facts that they brought up. So like they'd say the fact and then turn around and like pretend that wasn't the thing. Yeah, why 2018? They just don't understand, like it's just like their grasp of like time and it being a linear experience for humans, and that politics interweave into each other is like lost. It's just gone. They're just anti everything. They're just miserable about everything, and they just feel obligated or entitled to be miserable about everything. It's pathetic. This is probably one of the more pathetic ones I've watched. At least the other grifters are trying to, like, make people mad and trying to motivate people. These guys are just miserable. They're just miserable. Well, I don't know if you'd call that more or less reasonable. I think they were blatantly unreasonable about their expectations, about, like, the timeline, and then self-contradictory about their expectations. On one hand, they say, this is a symbolism project, and then they'd say that this is a symbolism project that should have been done right out the gate, and then they're turning around and saying this guy is just focused on symbolism problems. Trudeau was empathetic pro-diversity. That's what they're talking about? I think so. I think that is what they're talking about. I think you're right. I think they just don't like that Trudeau was empathetic pro-diversity and generally just a considerate and sensitive person, because they view that as weak presenting. And I think that's sad, frankly. That's just sad. I don't mean like I feel sad. I mean it's sad for them on their part. They seem sad. That's a sad position. Incredibly pessimistic about something they said, oh, this is getting done, hallelujah, let's proceed to completely shit on it and bitch about how bad it is. Like, what? Pick a lane. Hating on shit because you feel obligated because you're getting paid to hate on shit by a mega corporation that controls like a huge amount of the world's uranium is kind of... I don't know how I feel about that, but it's giving me the heebie-jeebies. Oh, I guess that's what they wanted, though. They want to present themselves as haunting and spooky. You're not intimidating, if that's what you're looking for. Like, spooky as in, like... What? Ooh. Oh... I guess I didn't really catch up on politics. I guess I'll change the name of this stream later. But... okay. Well, I guess I'll cut this up into another couple of videos. There's video coming out today on Debate Hub. Wait, today? What day is it? Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday. There's a video coming out today on Debate Hub because Debate Hub videos come out on Wednesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. because Dapper told me to. Actually, you'd be surprised. There's a good number of things that happen on Debate Hub because Dapper told me to. So, yeah, go check that out. That comes out at 3 p.m. So in a little bit. I'm gonna... JL Warren said, it's like people only do things because they get paid, and that's just really sad. Garth. Yeah, I know. Right? God. Party on. Party on. Warren, where can I get in touch with you? Are you on Blue Sky? On Discord? Where can I get in touch with you? Because we need to chat. Before I go, I want to get in touch with Warren. One Mr. J.L. Warden from the Bridge the Divide YouTube channel. And you should go check out Bridge the Divide if you haven't. If you followed the pipeline to me, you should then go to his channel. That should be the next stop on your timeline. Or on your journey. Let me get out of here. Fuck me, man. Well, I'm easy to find. Warren, find me. Go find me. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. I'm gonna get out of here. I hope you guys have a good day. I don't know what we're doing tomorrow. I might have some company stuff to talk about. You're on Blue Sky? Best to get you on Discord. Okay. Okay. I think we've talked on Discord before, so I'm pretty sure there's a history there. Oh, that might have been my old account. Fuck. Shit. Hold on. Here's the server invite for anybody who wants to join, but if you guys want to like hop in Warren, do me a favor and jump in there so I can grab your so I can grab your Discord. Then you can leave. Unless you want to stay, that's fine. I'm going to get on out of here. Thank you so much. Okay, you'll get me on Blue Sky. All right, we'll touch base on Blue Sky. Links in the description. Like membership. Oh, my membership has gone down in price, so it's cost $1. It's a whole $1 once a month. One whole $1. I'm worth it. Come on. Look at all the work I do. Look at what I put up with. Send me $1. Okay. I'll see you guys over on Debate Hub. Bye. 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 I'm leaving. Goodbye. So long. Get me out of here. I can't fucking deal with this shit. Good God.
I disagree infinitely about the way that was dumb, and I hate it. And I hate it.